If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor look too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life for broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at the beginning, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are done, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 40 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
Today is the beginning of the end, and the start of a new beginning. Time has come to refine yourself and let go of the demons in your head that have held you in captivity for so long. It's time to flip the page and prove them wrong. It's time for rebirth. Yeah, time's up to say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will feel free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you are the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a I don't give a fuck. 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 It's time to start doing the right thing. So trust your instinct. Stop listening to others and own your decisions. People will always tell you what to do, opinions how to live. So let's create space for what matters most to you. You'll be glad you did. Now start claiming your time and your mental well-being by saying no more. No more. Say it loudly and proudly. In other words, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hopefully my voice is going to hold up. Yesterday, or last night, I had a lot of problems coughing, and hopefully it's going to hold up. It's still a little ticklish. There we go already. Still a little ticklish, but we will see. We'll see how it goes. So if you didn't catch last night's show, we had Chaotic Truth on. He was awesome. That dude rocked out. I mean, it was cool. You could tell he was tired, so I really appreciate him showing up and you know, showing out, man. He did a great job. It was a great show. I really enjoyed it. You could watch the show again if you like. It would, it's a good show. You'll enjoy it. So let's see who's out there. Roland Thorne, Seriously Shelby, Beaten Cheeks. He should be on later, I think. And And we've got Goat Nipple. Okay. Austin Celea. TR Finley. Welcome back, sir. It's unfortunate you had to leave early. Chris Lestrange, Imperious gave me a. I mean, maybe. I think it's more likely that one of my kids gave me some kind of light upper respiratory infection from that they don't even know they have because they're playing at school. You know, it's a cesspool. What can you say? It's a cesspool. It's filth and slime. It's a cesspool. No, I'm kidding. They're good kids, but I'm just telling you. I don't know. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We may or may not have guests today, but it doesn't matter because we've got a pretty good show, or I have a pretty good show planned for us. And we're just going to go ahead and move on with that. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there was a shooting down in Florida. Now, that's not unusual. They have shootings in Florida kind of all the time, you know. That's it seems to be a thing down there. But at the same time, it's not necessarily the norm down in especially in Georgia. Georgia seems, I mean, look, around Atlanta, which is where it happened, is outside of Atlanta. I mean, it's a mixed bag. I ain't gonna lie to you. It ain't like everywhere else necessarily. But they had a shooting down there yesterday. Welcome, RIP. Welcome, Garris Godfrey. Yeah, down in Georgia, they had that shooting. And I said something because, I was watching it come through my news feed, and I was on Chaotic Show Live. And Chaotic and I were like, what's up with this, He asked my opinion, and I said, well, what's going to happen? What it's going to show is it's going to be probably a black guy. It could be a white guy now because I found out that he actually surrendered to the police. But initially, I thought it was going to be a black guy. He had contact with the FBI about school shootings. He's been on the FBI radar, and he probably went to that school. Those are the three guesses I made right off the top. And that's exactly what we got going on right now. Although I'm starting to believe it is a white guy. If you haven't heard, if you're not up on the news, 2 students in this guy's class were shot and killed. Are we sure it's a white kid? They've not said, which leads me to believe that it's a black kid. So the thing is that when it's a white kid, the press has no problem saying a 14-year-old white male. They got a lot of problems saying it's a 14-year-old Hispanic, black, Malaysian, Asian, Malaysian, whatever male. I'm just saying, I hadn't seen where it says a white kid yet. But what I have heard is that apparently he somehow took the firearm to school. My guess is he broke it down and put it in a backpack. Just walked in with it. You saw pictures? I hadn't seen pictures. That's interesting. All right, P, I'm going to have to look at it. That's interesting. Welcome, Serene. Welcome. We've already started the show. I'm sorry. We can't go backwards. So I'll look on Facebook. I'll look on that. I'm paying any attention to Facebook this morning. Maybe I should. So at any rate, my guess is kid brought the firearm to school in a backpack, disassembled, put it together. The way it looks like he shot 2 specific people in the class. Yeah, Crystal Strange, absolutely. He was taken alive. To me, this is all earmarks of a kid that was pissed at a couple of people and took it out on them, Well, I don't know what we're going to find out in the next few days, but the kid's alive and he's not talking. The kid's not talking. So, how do I put this? All right. So Yeah, he did. He made threats in May of 2023. That's right. He was investigated for that. The FBI looked into him. They turned it over to the sheriff's department. Sheriff's department went to the boy's house where the father said they do have firearms in the house for hunting, but that the boy did not have access to them without an adult being present. Now, obviously, that's not true, and that's never true. And actually, when we'll get into some, well, I got something to say on this myself separately. So it looks to me like the kid went in, weapon disassembled, puts a gun, probably goes into a closet or goes to the bathroom or just under his desk. I don't know. I don't know what a classroom's like, so it's hard for me to say. He assembles the weapon, which takes like no time. And he goes and shoots 2 people in his classroom, and then he shoots a specific teacher and another specific teacher. Again, he wasn't spraying and praying. It doesn't seem that way at all. And once he was confronted by the school resource officer, which, by the way, it looks like he walked right into the SRO. Once he was confronted by the SRO, he put his gun down and gave up. So to me, this has less the earmarks of a psycho school shooter and more the earmarks of like teen angst, disgruntled young man, angry young man. We've talked about that before on the show, angry young men. This has more those earmarks than it does the narrative of, just a crazy person with a gun. So, and then there was another shooting yesterday in, I believe it was Chicago. There was a shooting, and this is not unusual. I believe the press is going to be literally, the press is going to be ramping up any reports on any kind of shooting because it's an election year, and they need to get people to stop thinking about the economy and foreign policy and they need them to think very emotionally about, we got to stop these guns, we got all that, which is not going to happen. The Supreme Court right now, if you're not aware, and I don't intend to make this a firearms episode. I don't have Clover Tack up here, first of all, to do that. Yeah, it's election year gun control push. They got to energize their base. They can't do it right now with the economy. Every time they open their mouth, every time the left opens its mouth about the economy right now, they get kicked in. They get the teeth kicked in every time they open their mouth about the economy. So all the talking points from here on out are going to be about school safety, about keeping young people safe, and all of that. You were saying the same thing yesterday, Rip? Yeah, you're a smart man. You're a smart man. Yeah, it's all mental health, bro. And even if this is just an angry young man, it's just an angry young man that has never been taught how to properly deal with his anger. Siege D, it may be working, brother. It may be working. It might be working. But it does sound like that he had targets. And it was a small black, one of the targets. I couldn't tell. Could anybody tell if that kid was black or Latino in the picture? They had the pictures up this morning. I was in my garage trying to not talk all morning. So anybody got information on that? That'd be great. Yeah, so it looked like a young black male and a 14-year-old black male and a 14-year-old Latino female is what it looks like to me. Now, am I wrong about that? You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I think there's probably bullying in that, Serene. I think so. Angry young men, we got to talk about this stuff more and more. I personally, and I'll take all the heat you want to give me for this. I think we don't have enough bullying anymore. I think that kids are not, it might have been two boys, actually, Rip. Now you say that. I don't think kids today know what it's like to get punched in the face. I don't think kids today know what it's like to be angry. I don't know. I think we shelter children so much from their emotions and feelings that when they actually grow up and have emotions and feelings, they don't know what to do with them. They just don't. They're lost. And then we have people. We have like what's going on this, or we have women breaking down in shopping malls, crying, breaking down in tears because they're sold out of a handbag, or some shit like that. Where the fuck is Beaten Cheeks at? Let me get that commie bastard. Let me kick his back in real quick. I like that expression. Chaotic Truth has helped me with that. I also invited Jess on. I felt bad she didn't get to talk last night. Rip, I agree. It's largely because of the feminized culture, but it's also because men have ceded their authority, and men keep allowing themselves to be domesticated. If we want to use that word, I'm going to use that word. I don't care what you think about that word. We continuously allow young men, old men, all men. If a man steps out, and let's just say that me and my brother, my brother and I used to fight, man. You have no idea. I mean, we used to fight. I mean, fight. I got I had two brothers. I'm down to one. And I'm telling you, man, it was, I mean, we beat the crap out of each other. We beat the crap out of each other so much that when I actually got into fights with other people, it wasn't a thing, man. It wasn't. It was not a thing. And I remember I had this bully. His name was Stan Mefford. He was like real tall, blonde kid, strong. Thought he was strong. He wasn't. But he just matured earlier than the rest of us, And he was just taller, a little more muscular. I was always short for my age. I always was. And I remember, but I was like super active, man. I did everything. I rode my bike, 5-10 miles a day. And we're talking about a BMX bike. That's a lot for a kid. I played baseball. I played basketball on a church team. Of course, I was too short to make the school team. And I'm the wrong ethnicity. But I made the church team. I played basketball. I literally did everything every day. All this stuff. I was always moving. I was strong, man. And I fought all the time. My brothers and I fought all the time. My friends and I fought all the time. I just didn't care. And I remember this kid, Stan, man, he was an angry kid. He was an angry kid. His parents had gotten divorced. He didn't really understand that. He was mad at his dad, mad at his mom, mad at school, mad at having to live at two houses, half a week here, half a week there, that kind of crap. And he was just mad. He was angry. He was just an angry dude. He tried to act like he was cool and all, but he was angry. And so I remember he started picking on me for some reason, mainly because I was small. I got picked on a lot because I was small. And I remember we were walking. I walked to school back then, and I rode my bike or I walked to school. And a lot of times I'd walk because not all my friends had bikes or rode their bikes to school. So I'd walk with, we would walk as a group of friends, right? And I don't know what was in this dude's, what was just, tearing his ass up, but he just had to want to fight me. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to fight you, but if you hit me, man, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm just going to hurt you. Like, I ain't playing around with you. You're too big. And at that time I had I had a really good I had actually a really good group of friends, and I had a really good I hate saying this publicly, man. I had a really good martial arts instructor. I was in a really good martial arts school, and it it was and it was teaching me a lot about what I could do, and I knew at that point that I could hurt people, right? Because I'm, my brothers, I fought all the time, man. I mean, I broke my brother's I broke my brother's tooth. I've broken, I've done a lot of stuff. My brother should hate me. Like, he really should. But I told this kid, I'm like, look, man, don't mess with me. I don't want to hurt you, but I'm going, you look, I get you bully all these other kids, but I'm going to hurt you. Would not leave me alone. And we got to the gym. It's Old South, so it's a gym that the churches use for their basketball games. It's open during the day to anybody, to the public. And we all used to go there after school. We're playing basketball, and or we intended to play basketball. And the whole time I'm in there, every time this kid gets a ball, he throws a ball at me, he trips me, he pushing me around, all this stuff. So I get ready to leave. I'll go outside. I'm ready to leave. I'm leaving. And the kid comes up behind me and pushes me. And now I realize that I'm not going to get away from this kid. Like, he's not going to let me just walk home. He's going to follow me wherever I go. He's going to keep causing trouble. And, something's got to stop right now. So I turn around and I just hit him right dead in the eye. I mean, huge black eye. And I hit him again. I hit him once in the eye and once in the jaw, and laid him out. Like, he fell, he fell back. He's holding his eye. The guy who ran the gym, the overseer, the guy who, checked everybody in and out of the gym, the adult came out. And he's like, man, I can't believe you guys did that. I'm going to call the cops. But he didn't. He ended up not calling the cops because he knew we were kids fighting. And we're in a, I'm in a public, dude, you look so gay.
Oh, man.
How do you look so gay?
I think I look.
Chat, L's in the chat for beating cheeks. L's, man. Is that your sister?
Video. What?
Is that your sister, bro?
Where?
On camera. You look very feminine, bro. What happened to beating cheeks? Dude, look. I'm not the only one, man.
Hey, man, I should. Hey,
I think it's the glasses, man. I think
it's the glasses. Hey, guess what? Chaotic Truth. Okay, I was on his panel months ago. One of my on Discord told me to get on to debate some other ghetto ass black motherfuckers.
You're like lagging, breaking up, stop motion.
Shit, am I real?
Yeah. Your mic's cutting out. It's very funny for me. I don't know if it's funny for the chat. It's very funny for me. I want to keep telling my story while you sort out your stuff.
Everything good?
It's better now. Just give me a second. I'm gonna finish my story, man. So I hit this kid pushes me. I hit him. He falls down. Basically, I think it's over. I go home. Next day, he tries to follow me home from school again. We get in the hospital parking lot, which was fortunate for him. Same thing again, and I whipped his ass again in this hospital parking lot. Only this time, a security guard catches us and tells us to go to the office, to the security office. And I'm like, all right. And I leave. And the other kid, he goes to the security office. He couldn't deal with the fact that he had that black eye. He had to show up to school every day with that black eye. And everybody knew I gave it to him because I'm a little kid, man. But he never bullied me or anybody else after that. Like he absolutely, I mean, he still is kind of a jerk, but he never bullied anybody because we had never had anybody poke him in the eye before. Literally, I did. And I don't know, man. I don't think that kids have those experiences. I also learned that I didn't have to, literally beat the crap out of somebody to make them stop. I just had to, I just needed to do just enough to get them to stop, and then I could walk away. So I don't know. Cheeks, man, I'm telling you, man, you look so feminine right now. Are you wearing a dress?
It's a V-neck, bro. I gotta, little cleavage.
Was that beating Cheeks jazz hands? Man, you are gonna, I'm telling you, Cheeks, you're gonna take a beating today. Beating Cheeks, but they gay cheeks. Oh, man.
Just doing my woo side. Am I looking better? Do I sound better?
I mean, you're not my type.
It doesn't look like I'm lagging from yours. Whatever. What the fuck is this?
Let me check.
Streamlabs.
It
looks like I'm fucking up on your stream, though.
You are fucking up on my stream. Hang on, chat. What do you guys think?
God damn, my dog's fucked me up. So I have a show tonight.
Watching playgrounds with binoculars. Cheeks, you're bugged. You're bugged, boys. You're bugged, or you're bugging boys. I don't know. Buggery, is that still a crime? Buggery. Look, man, we'll just work through it, bro. It's you're choppy. You look like a girl.
God damn it.
But other than that, the Cheeks looks like a Mexican Destiny. Oh my God.
Whoa. Easy there. Easy there.
When you go into a soft boy era, you're still supposed to look like a man.
Easy there, killers. Just because I shave doesn't make me a fucking cuck.
Oh my
God damn it, man. I can't fucking fix this.
There you go. We're going to leave that there for a minute. Mexican. He's not Mexican, man. He's like Haitian or something. I don't know what he is.
Fuck, man.
Well, yeah, now you look better. You look way better. Yeah. Now you look like a man again.
Is my audio coming in fine, though?
Your audio's good, man.
Yeah, I gotta fix this shit. It wouldn't go to my my fucking Nvidia
now
shit.
I know what's wrong with
the
the women you're dating. They're men.
Damn, dude.
Oh man. I subbed to Cheeks as a dirty Kiwi on Rumble. I didn't know I was subbing to his sister.
God damn.
People are suggesting you get your T levels checked.
I mean, they're pretty. They're pretty.
I'm glad you have such
decent.
good sense of humor, but I guess you've had
they're pretty decent. They're like my T's like at like 90 right now.
Okay.
Wait, that's a woman's T.
I know. I'm trying to be nice to you. I'm trying to stop this. I'm trying to be nice to you. Just White says she didn't know you were in the middle of a transition.
Whoa. I can't take this cyberbullying, guys. I can't take
We got some serious cyberbullying going on.
No,
wow.
I can take it all.
The way you fix it, Cheeks, is to stop sucking D. Glenn Lawrence sends in that enlightened message.
God damn it. Don't worry, guys. For my Rumble tonight, I'll be a lot fucking better. All right.
I hope so.
Fucking camera's not.
Well, try and look like a man. That'll be the first thing.
I am a man. There we go. Fuck, it works.
Yeah, you're still.
Am I still choppy?
That last freeze frame was flawless. That was flawless.
I don't see it freezing from this end.
On a scale of Tic Tac to Kiwi, how big are your balls? Michelle's being mean. Wow. Wow. Man, Michelle, that going in hard. Of course, we know Cheeks can't go in hard. He's in the soft boy era.
I'm in my soft boy era, and I'm on YouTube.
You are literally in your soft boy era, but you should not look like a girl.
Why? What's wrong with the smooth face? You can't even grow a fucking beard. I can.
I do. I have to shave all the time. Matter of fact, I need to shave now. I just, I have to shave or the gray comes out too much.
Oh,
that's what's up. That's why
I found my first gray a few months ago, right here on my side.
On your thigh?
Side of my head.
Oh, okay. All right. This must be the incel version of Cheeks we've been hearing about. No, it's the feminine version of Cheeks we've been hearing about.
Nah, man, I'm incel, bro. Incel for life.
Let's get a tan. Oh my god.
What?
Damn, son. Damn. Rip, if I grow a beard, man, it'll be nothing but gray. No, I don't look good with a beard, man. It goes gray, makes me look fucking old.
Like my hair is getting old.
Feminine.
Hey, look. I want to question my blackness. You can see the curls. They're just fucking coming out now.
Curls, man. You look like La Bamba's sister.
How dare you? That was fucking low of you. You know that?
He was Mexican. Low. He is a good sport. But when you've had so many things poked at you, fun is just not that big a deal anymore. The stream freezing is flawless, man. That is so great.
Dude, your shit sucks. I actually, my internet's been fucking up the past day and a half because I had fucking storms. They shut down my internet, all night last night.
I know. You told me that. You told me.
Yeah, man.
Internet. I know. I remember. It's okay. You can go back to just the avatar, bro. It's okay.
Why is my focus out?
He look like he's in high school. This is the GAG show, geriatric and gay. I guess I'm the geriatric one, bastard. He looks like he smells like feet. Wow, that's mean.
I love it.
You like the new background, Michelle? I'm waiting on one or two more pieces to come in, but they're minor.
Yeah, well, shit.
I can't hear you, man. What's up?
I said, what's with that?
What's with what? The background?
Yeah, the background. I
change it like every 3 or 4 weeks. What do women see in Cheeks?
Shit.
Themselves.
I'm trying to figure that out.
Themselves.
I told you guys I wasn't a pretty good. Fucking 4 or 5, take off my shirt, then I'm like a good 6, thankfully. I'm not a fat fuck, but at least I, keep myself in shape. But even then,
pretty,
I'm still
man.
not a.
I'm gonna be honest with you, you're pretty. You're pretty for,
dude, you guys just see my fucking pube-like hair on my head? That shit ain't pretty.
How much did I pay for that half-baked IT specialist in New Delhi? Oh my god!
Oh shit, that was a good one.
Oh, that's low. That is kicking a fellow directly in the nards. Cheeks would feel that if he had any.
Fucking Glenn, he's going in, bro.
I know.
Oh, fucking Glenn, that was a good one. I'm not gonna lie, that was a good one.
Good, Gary Skyfrey. Glenn, Grid, I didn't realize you were getting a new female co-host. Send her back to the streets. Damn, son. Damn.
Hey, man. Hey, guys, tonight I'm breaking the big news that everybody wanted to talk about past y'all stream. So
yeah. We need to do that. Is Andrew going to be on?
He hasn't answered me back yet, man. I text him and
he's playing. He's playing video games right now. Don't bother him. Cheeks, Earth to Cheeks.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm getting did you forget I'm fucking on? I have business too, dude, or trying to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like you yet.
Also, my wife doesn't really like the beard. So,
really?
yeah, they really like the beard.
All right, I'm gonna do this for effing epic. All right, thank you. Come again.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, Glenn's got the link. He could come on the show and talk smack live, but he prefers to just snipe at you from the chat. He probably hadn't had his first cup of coffee yet.
Yeah, I sent Glenn the link. I sent you the link. Jake, Teriak, Andrew, and I got a few. I asked Chaotic to come on. I don't know how I can link without knowing his fucking Discord, or I don't have fucking Instagram, or I don't have anything. So I'm not gonna put out my shit. And
Glenn's out running errands. He's doing this while he's kind of being productive. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Anyway, Cheeks, how's the world going?
Dude,
other than us beating the crap out of you for the last like 20 seconds.
No, this is nothing compared, dude. I'd roast it or one of all day than the fucking shit I've been going. I have been under past like few weeks. I'll talk a little into that later this evening, but this fucking it's held. So and I gotta I'm getting a lot of pushback on my current stuff going now with my business and shit, and a client who doesn't want to renew after I just set up a whole new infrastructure for him that's multi-million-dollar, like, if mind you. And I'm, and I did it on a penny to the fucking, hundreds, mind you. I mean, you're doing pretty, you paid me well for it, probably more than, any other contractors, would have charged. God damn it, dude. He doesn't want to renew. I did all this work. I feel like I kind of lowballed myself if I would have known he wasn't going to renew my contract. So I'm like, fuck. Because remember, I already lost 60% of my revenue.
Who's the debate with? Is it just Sarah and Andrew?
Sarah who? Who the fuck is Sarah?
Sarah the Raging Tomato.
She's debating Andrew?
That's what I'm asking. Shut the hell up.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I'm trying to ask that.
You're lucky you're lucky on your show. Fuck you, man.
I know. You can say that. It's okay.
Nah, that's just disrespectful to the host, man. I can't do that. These are your terms, your battlegrounds.
Yeah. It's a panel debate. Andrew agreed to a panel debate. I find that very interesting.
Yeah, what the fuck? He doesn't do panel debates. He hasn't done that in like.
Yeah. Does Andrew know it's a panel debate? Oh, Andrew and Torsha. Okay.
The skinny white chick?
Andrew's agreed to debate with have Torsha as her debate partner. That's weird.
Oh, I said debate partner.
Yeah, Mr. Mister, you can come up. Let me give Shelby the link. I'm sorry. Give me a second. I've been remiss in my duties. I just had somebody trying to call me. I don't know who the fuck it was. You can smack Cheeks around like in person like the rest of us. Kidding.
No, that's fine. I got to get off here in like 15 minutes.
That's all good,
you guys can go ahead and start, cussing me out.
Are you gonna run for office?
Man, we're gonna talk about all that tonight on my Rumble channel, guys.
Yeah. But you could break the news here first, man. I'm a trendsetter.
This is too good. Break. Great. Trust me.
Literally, like all I heard was it.
I said, oh my God.
Cheeks, you okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can now, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I said I'll break it tonight, guys. Sorry.
Okay.
But I can't tell you, no, I'm not going to run for office. I would love to.
You should run for office. So, yeah, you should actually run for office.
If I
Even Cheeks' internet is disappointed in his appearance. Man, they are not letting up on you, bro. They are going hardcore. So,
I'm cool with that, but
Jim Bob versus
no,
Rob Noor on the Crucible is going to be lit. I need to get Rob Noor on my channel. I need to interview that guy. Need to have a conversation with Rob Noor. All right. What's up, Mr. Mister?
Is my mic working?
It is now.
All right, so I wanted to ask your opinion about something.
Sure.
So I saw the story yesterday, and all the good stuff kind of gets buried, but the House oversight, Mike Johnson, you know who he is?
Mike Johnson? Which one?
Yeah, the House of Representatives leader.
Okay. What about him?
Yeah, so they the Freedom Caucus Council, like all the populists, they had a post on X yesterday about how they're going to lump the SAVE Act. You know what the SAVE Act is?
Yes.
Okay, they're going to put that in with the government shutdown bill.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and this is important because this idiot, this asshole drives me nuts because for the longest time he would play this game where he would when it comes to like all the good stuff that we needed, he would pass standalone bills that he knew would get shot down, right? So you knew he was just a total idiot, or he knew he was playing games. But then when it came to stuff that all the bad guys wanted, you'd have no problem lumping it together in a bill. So for the longest time, I've been asking this question. I'm like, why doesn't this moron just put the important shit in the lump bills or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Because you could tell he doesn't want to do something when that happens. So when they finally did it, and for those people who don't know, the SAVE Act is about making it law that you have to prove your citizenship to vote. So I just wanted to ask your opinion on that because I this is something I've been waiting a long time for.
So for those of you who don't know, the SAVE Act, it's different than the hearing Hearing Protection Act that they're trying to do for suppressors. The SAVE Act stands for the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility. Basically, you have to have ID to be able to vote, and it has to be real ID, which is one of the reasons why they've been delaying the pushback or the rollout of the real ID standardization across the country, so that you can't fly without real ID. You can't, you can't go into certain states and drive without a real ID. So, and they're trying to make that nationwide, and they keep pushing it back. It was supposed to go into effect. The real ID law was supposed to go into effect, I think, 2 Octobers ago, and it's been pushed back again. And so for those of you who don't know, it's getting lumped in with the budget so that they have to vote on it one way or the other, and they go on record. And if they go on record as voting against it, then that's just going to play out for the next year, right? as, hey, these morons that keep saying they want to safeguard our country, they want this, they want that, but they voted against the bill to do that, and it'll be paraded around forever. And of course, the government will be shut down until they come to an agreement on it. And I think that's really good leverage. And I actually agree with the entire premise of what's going on, because you are right. The Democrats have done it for years. They really wanted to get their, it's a similar sounding bill. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the bill for the let illegals.
I get what you're saying. Totally get it. It's basically like giving them the ability to vote without, forget the name of it.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll find it. I'll just.
Sorry, I absorb so much news every day that
Yeah. Well, it didn't pass, and they don't have time enough to get it to go through. Fair. It's I believe.
Well, because
it's called the Save Act. No, it's not called the Save Act. It's stand by.
What they do is they give them driver's licenses, and in some states that auto registers them to vote.
Yeah,
and,
I'll have to find it.
I keep telling my friends, I'm like, you better move because shit's gonna get real bad if they keep letting them get away with this crap.
Cheeks, what do you think about this, man?
Definitely, dude. Voter, fucking be a goddamn, not a veteran. I was gonna say veteran.
Didn't Florida pass a law that you have to have ID to vote?
Real ID? I'm not sure. I've only been living in Florida for like a year and a half now, but in Hawaii, but I've been living in Hawaii majority of the time, so that's pretty standard in Hawaii to have a real ID, or you can't even fly.
All right, guys, we have to take a collection up for Cheeks. He's on poverty internet. We got to get him up to at least.
Am I still fucked up?
You've been fucked up the whole time, bro. Call your internet provider. Reset your route. Or what are you on? Are you on dial-up? What are you at? What are you on there? Oh, he's gone. He's mad. He's not mad. His internet is mad. His internet is so mad at me. It needs to come. Man, I got to be honest with you. I've never seen Cheeks look that feminine. Like, that was crazy. Like, I think it's the glasses. I would be mad at you if I was the internet for Cheeks. Well, if you had to convey that feminine image across the world, yeah.
You're in Tennessee, right?
I am.
So have you seen an influx of people moving in the last 2 years?
Not illegals, no.
No, but I'm talking about regular.
We've had people move in. I mean, we've had. We're still listed as one of the top places to move to in the country.
Yeah. Because one of the I forget who wrote this who was talking about this. I was listening to a debate recently about I can't remember who said this, but they were planning on seceding from the Union. There's a document that Matt Taibbi, you know who he is, the guy that they gave it, Elon Musk gave the Twitter files to.
Mm-hmm.
He released a document about a contingency plan if Trump won in 2020, and part of it was they were going to secede from the Union, and they keep looking at us and telling us, oh, that's you guys are going to do that, and I'm like, no, actually, what we will do. This is why I keep warning my friends and family like to get away from certain states or whatever, because what I think the worst case scenario will happen isn't this civil war and everything like that, but I think what'll happen is red states will shut their shut access off to people that live in these other states.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem is that interstate commerce and traffic is guaranteed in most state charters. So the states can't actually bar people from entering. What they could do is they could require you to prove a citizen to enter the state. Again, this is impractical because there's so many roads leading in and out of every state, but definitely on most interstates. And there are states that do that. I don't know if you guys realize this, but like every time that I would tow through Kansas, for example, in Nebraska, and I don't know if I've told the story before, but every time I towed a trailer through Kansas or Nebraska, I would get pulled over because they want to see if there are people in there, people or drugs, mostly people. And it's really interesting to have that happen, because it was this state trooper pulls me over once, claiming that I couldn't see him in my mirrors. I was like, "Well, I did see you because I stopped." And he's like, "No, your mirrors are not sufficient. You're supposed to have tow mirrors and all this." And I'm like, "No, I don't. No, I could see you fine." And the
reason why I bring it,
go ahead.
The reason why I'm talking about this is because guys are good at like OPSEC. If anyone in the military in the chat knows what that means, but like understanding and seeing when problems can come. Sometimes they won't come, but you can tell when something could happen, something bad. So my thing is, let's say, what's the worst case scenario you think could happen if these idiots?
What do I think is the worst case scenario of things that are going to happen going forward? I think what is going to end up happening is I think that there's no way that we can naturalize the 9 to 11 million people that have come here. It just isn't possible. We do not have the jobs, we don't have the resources, we don't have the willingness to put up with it. And you're seeing this in New York and in the places they are: New York, Chicago, Colorado, and LA, Southern California. That every week, a new video comes out. They just released a video in New York of more Venezuelan and South American gangs taking over apartment buildings, right? And the more this happens, the more the crime gets out of hand. So when it doesn't affect the man on the street, nobody really gives a shit, right? They just don't. But when there was a biker in Florida this morning, I think it's a female biker. I'm not really sure. It just popped up on my feed. They tried to hijack her motorcycle. So she pulls up behind this car in traffic. The driver's door kind of opens, but then the passenger door does open, and this huge guy gets out and comes back around the car.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're one incident away from something serious going on. Like,
no, it's already, dude. We are way past that, bro. We're way past that. The common man like you, right? Well, the common man like Clover Tack, Crystal Strain's not in this country, but the common man in the United States has had enough. He's had enough. And the more it keeps happening, and see, the thing is that it's a lot of people like me who's like, man, it doesn't matter. It doesn't happen on my lawn. I don't really care. Right. And there's a lot of people like that out there. With what's happening right now, what's happened the past 2 years. Let's just take the last 2 years. of what's really happened. So initially, they allowed all of these people to come across the border, and Abbott was down there saying, "Hey, this is a big deal." That the New Mexico and Arizona governors were saying, "Hey, this is a really big deal. We need to pay attention to this." And what ends up happening is the actually, Josie, my plane is not out. What do you want? What you're gonna have to be more clear. I don't know what Josie's asking me for. Anyway, but the average guy on the street, the average person going to work at a factory every day, the average person making frozen burritos for consumption throughout the US, whatever it is, whatever job they have, they really haven't been bothered for the past 2 years. And now,
yeah, well, I know,
now it's in their face. Now that you have people, you have normal people that you have their kids getting pulled off motorcycles at intersections and the motorcycles stolen, broad daylight. You have people on scooters in major cities that are literally scooter gangs that run around and grab purses off of women's shoulders and throw them to the ground. These women get hurt. They're stealing backpacks off of men, just broad daylight. Now, this isn't in traditionally what we consider crime-free areas. And if you take like New York, for example, New York had Rudy Giuliani, and he came in on a promise of, I'm going to clean up New York. And nobody liked that guy, right? He was a hard nose. He's conservative. Nobody thought he would get elected in New York, but he did on one promise, and that was he was going to clean up the crime in New York. He's been gone, what, 6 years? 6, 8 years, something like that?
Yeah. I'm all over the place.
Every year it gets worse. Every year it gets worse. Same things happening in New Mexico and Arizona. New Mexico and Arizona for years, safe.
Yeah.
They get Democratic leadership in, and all of a sudden, there are people that live down near the border that have perimeter alarms on their houses because of the people who come onto their property.
Well, it's not just that. Like for I want to say 7 or 8 years, I've been warning my family about this stuff.
Yeah,
7 or 8 years, and
sure.
And I'm going to tell you one quick story why it matters to me so much. This manosphere crap, it does matter for a couple of other reasons, but this stuff matters more because it's destroying everything, and so I want to say about 4 months ago, okay, I pay a lot of money to have my kids go to a private school, and
sure.
So I get a call, and they're like, "Oh, no worries, there was just a threat," and I'm like, "A threat? What are you talking about?" And I know, you being in Tennessee, I can't say what I mean by that, the whole transformer thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never throw a TOS on when I'm on here because I've been banned on Facebook, permaban or whatever. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, so even where I'm at, they had a threat where they I had to worry about that. I'm like 2 states away, and I'll tell you, the reason why I say it's bad is because if that shit happened to me, okay, someone that was smart and skilled enough to actually do something about it, I'd be going to hell because,
So I mean, yeah, I mean, I get that, but the thing is that there's a lot of people in the U.S., a lot, that never had to worry about it. They've never had to worry about it. They've never had to think about any issues, really. The biggest issue they think about is putting gas in the car every day, right? That's it. Or the car's going to break down, so they've got to get you know, going to have to find a mechanic that's not going to rip them off. You know, that's what these people are talking about. That's what they were talking about. But gradually, and this is what, you know, it's like, I've always heard, you know, and I hear this a lot from people who are maybe not alarmist, but they're line in this, what I call line in the sanders, right? Like there's this magical line in the sand, and we're going to all of a sudden the whole world's going to realize what's going on. But that's not the way it works.
This is definitely spiritual in my eyes, because what kind of monster do you have to be if you have a problem with me or my ilk or in a, you know, me liking the fact that, you know, I'm on one side of the coin because I want American sovereign identity. Okay, for those of you who don't know what that means, it means, like, let's take Mexico for example. Mexico is full of Mexicans. That is not racist. That's what's called national identity. This is what they want to erase in America. And the thing is the reason why it's a Trojan horse is because we have many different cultures in America. But
we're not looking at Mexicans coming here. Do we have Hondurans, El Salvadorans, Venezuelans? We've got Brazilians. We've got there. You can't not and that's just from south of the border. We also have, you know, people that are getting shipped there and then come up through Mexico. Like we've got Somalis, we've got all kinds of African people coming through illegally. We have Chinese nationals are coming through freely. They're actually Chinese soldiers, which I'm not really sure whether they're active or whether they're, you know, they're fleeing the Chinese army. Who knows? I don't know. But we have soldiers coming through. There's so many people.
They don't want people having a national identity anywhere.
It's not a they. Don't use they.
Okay.
The politicians that are in control don't care about us having a national identity, because for them, this is simply a job that they get paid to do. And the way that they make their money is like any other used car salesman, and that is by selling you something for a price that's higher than they paid for it, or they're going to pay for it. And
People are.
You can just boil the entire government down to Ed's or used cars or Fast Eddie's used cars. You can literally dumb it all down to that, because that's what it is. It isn't a they, it isn't a them. It's literally just the politicians that are doing this because they don't believe it. And I used to think that it was like they just didn't care, or they
go out of their way to make it not happen. I can give you an example. I don't mean to say that again. I'm telling you who it is. So you know who Ted Cruz is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ted Cruz, for those of you in the chat don't know, he's a senator from Texas. He tries to pass his bill. You can look this up on YouTube when you get a chance. He tries every single freaking year to pass this stupid bill that will put armed security in schools. And every year you see them cry on the opposite side. Oh, we can't do anything about it. It's always this asshole from Connecticut that blocks it every damn time. Right. Every friggin' time.
Yeah, dude, I get it, man. I 100% get it. And but again, I just have to constantly point out when we have conversations like this, that it's not this nebulous thing. It's very specific people. It is the government that's doing it. You can name the people. You just did. You named the people that do these things. But the problem is that until you get the common man, the regular voter, to agree with you enough to get rid of those people, nothing. It doesn't matter what you do. It does not matter. And that's why, Tennessee has been, and I'll pick on my state for a minute. My state's been very good about only putting people in office that can do the job. And we used to actually.
Oh yeah, Tennessee's really good. Like they got some
We
good
used to
leaders.
actually have Democrats that could get elected because they were neutral enough, but but not so much anymore. That's
Yeah,
one.
well, I know she's female or whatever, but Blackburn's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I said, it's just so.
So whoever made the Hissler post in my chat, you get a timeout, behave yourself, and you can come back. If you don't want to behave yourself, you can go away forever.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, there's no need for that.
Yeah, I don't have time for such nonsense.
So
I think CloverTack's on some good meds. CloverTack, are you okay, buddy? Are you home from the hospital? I think he's on some good meds.
So yeah, I was just like I said, every now and then I'll pop in and give you some news or whatever that some people aren't looking at, but I was surprised the Freedom Caucus is doing that because I called Mike Johnson's line personally, and I left him like 50 messages. Like, how could you do this? You're really screwing up. Because I want to say 3 months ago, he goes to Mar-a-Lago, and he has a press conference with Trump, and he says, "Oh, we understand now that there's a bunch of illegals that could possibly get a chance to vote." So the very next day, what happens is, okay, that was on a Sunday. That week, I believe it was Tuesday, they start passing the Ukraine bill, the foreign aid Ukraine bill. But he has no problem saying, "Oh, okay, we're going to pass all the Ukraine funding, and we're going to lump a bunch of stuff in." Doesn't put the SAVE Act in. But then all of a sudden now he's like,
I mean,
okay,
again, the problem is it's all the deals, man. And there's not enough pressure on these politicians to make the right deal. Do you know what I mean? Makes sense? So what happens is, so like, we will get rid of in my state, we'll get rid of a politician. If a politician acts out, if they want to be if they don't want to follow what the state wants to do, they're gone. If you want to commit political suicide in the state of Tennessee, all you need to say is in any press release mention state income tax as something you are for. You will not have a career in Tennessee anymore, politically, because we don't want that. And the state's said many times, we don't want state income tax. There's no point in it. We operate at surplus every year. We hold very little debt, and
how does someone from Somalia get elected to our Congress? Goes into a public meeting
again. And you know that if you're talking about Ilhan Omar, she ran unopposed, bro, in a Muslim district, and it literally. Look, this is how this always works. It worked with it works with every single group that comes here that is not diverse or that chooses not to be diverse. They literally poured Muslims into a specific area, into a neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood, and those Muslims basically elected her, right? They were the popular vote. She got elected fairly. Now, do I agree with anything she says? No, absolutely not. Do I think that she should be able to be a in our government?
You come into Congress, you take an oath, okay? You know that when you go into any form, like, you have to take an oath. Okay, so their oath is to their constituents of their districts and whatnot. But this woman says to these people, and that are Somali. Like, hey, don't worry. As long as I'm in charge, do you remember that video? I'm sure you've seen it. She's like, oh, as long as I'm in charge, the interest of Somalia will always be a priority. I'm like, you can't do that. You can't say that as a sitting congressional leader. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, I mean, they can say it, but again, we can't do anything about it because it's her constituents that she's representing. If we want to get rid of her, you have to start putting true Americans back in that district that want to vote for something other than what she represents.
Yeah, that was a little.
That's what happens. That's what happens, and so that's why it's really important, you know. And that's one of the reasons why I think California is going to be a lot closer this time than people think, because. Yeah. And I think they may actually lose some electoral votes in California. I don't think they're going to win all the districts in California. I think they're only going to. I just don't. I don't see them getting all of the electoral votes in California.
Well, one thing they didn't account for was the Hispanics all leaning right. I mean, the fact that happened, because all the good ones, not the ones that are coming in that are gang members and all that crap, but all the good ones that are coming in, they were fleeing, socialist.
Well, the problem that they're having is that the people that they're bringing in don't want to sign their name to anything because paper trails matter.
Yeah.
And, so that's a real problem, right? And this is the same problem. This is why New York is having such an issue and is going to have an issue in the next election, is because, yeah, sure, they've got 9 million people in New York City, but who cares? We weren't going to win New York City anyway.
Right, right. Well,
they won't move outside of New York City into the state of New York or anywhere else, because if they do that, they don't have that political inertia. They don't have the votes. It doesn't matter. They can move all the way out there. They can move. They can.
I get that, but you being in the political sphere, know this where most wouldn't. The more illegals they get into these blue states, the more representatives they get based on the census numbers.
They don't. That's false. That is false. It only matters if they move into different districts. And what we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that at all. We're seeing them move into very specific areas where they're friendly to them. And like New York City, like Denver, like LA, like San Francisco. Now, if they moved a bunch out to Bakersfield and turned Bakersfield from red to blue, that would matter. But they're not going to be able to do that because the people of Bakersfield are not going to put up with it.
Yeah, well.
Now, same thing in New York. You're not going to get 30,000 Somalis and whatever to move out of New York City. First of all, you're not going to move out of the city anyway. But if you were, you're not going to get them to move out into upstate New York, into these small towns.
So see, that's the problem I have, because sanctuary cities break federal law 8 USC 1223. So already they're breaking a federal law by allowing these people to come in.
But again, we've already lost those votes. We're never going to get those votes.
Right. But here's the thing. So let's say you're an adjacent state that doesn't like that.
Right.
How can they allow these people to cross state lines then? Like what? Get what I'm saying?
So, and a lot of them do get pulled over. That's why they had to bus them in. That's why they have to fly them in. They can't if they put, and this happens all the time, if they put illegals in cars and drive them from Texas to New York, they get stopped, they get pulled over, they get put in jail. They put them on buses, they put them on airplanes. They're not driving. They're not in an F-150, brother. They're not in an F-150 driving across country. They're in a tour bus that looks like every other tour bus. That's it. That's the way it is. They buy a Greyhound ticket and they roll on. And there's no reason for the police to stop them. The thing, and we can get into. I mean, that's a lot of talking. but the way the illegals are being misled into New York City is criminal in and of itself. And honestly, the mayors of all the boroughs, the mayor of New York City itself, the governor of New York, all the police chiefs, they should all be held accountable because of that.
What do you think about gerrymandering?
How really fucked up it is, and why the problem is going to come to a head that is going to probably a lot of people are going to get killed. I don't think people understand why. So when you go to New York City, I talked about this a little bit the other day. When you go to New York City, you're guaranteed housing if you can't afford it. You get off a bus and you walk to a shelter and say, hey, I just arrived here. I have no money. I have no food. I have $10 in my pocket. I need a place to live. By New York City law or state law, you have to be let into a shelter. You have to be given shelter for 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, they kick them out. And when they kick them out, they can't just go out the back door and come back in the front. They're blacklisted from ever going into a shelter in New York ever again. Those people are now on the street.
I thought it was you I heard this from. Maybe it was somewhere else. Someone else said this too. But yeah, 30 days, and then they get kicked out.
Yep.
But then what happens to them after they're out?
They live on the street. They live on the street, and that's a problem in New York City because New York City has really, really, really powerful anti-vagrancy laws. And so they're in this conundrum right now where they've created a problem. Their own laws are creating the problem that they're trying to solve. They can't do anything about it. And it's going to come to a head. That's why the city had to take over hotels to house these people. And that's why the people of New York are going to vote more red than ever because their schools are being taken over to house these kids or to house these people. The entire hotels have been shut down.
What's up, Chris?
They're now shutting down shopping malls. Sorry.
Sorry to take up all
really
everyone.
Terrible, it's really terrible what's going on in New York. And the thing is that you would think that the idea would be to push these extra people out of New York City into the smaller cities so they could take over those cities and influence those elections. But those people won't go there. They don't want to go there. And even if they did, the people in those small towns, they're not New York City. They're going to throw those people out. They have anti-vagrancy laws. They have laws that say, hey, you need to be, you must have housing. You can't be here. And so those people will get pushed back out. So this is why I honestly, the only reason I care about the immigration crisis, the only reason I care is because of the crime that it brings into major cities. That's it. I don't care about potential voting issues other than federal. Federal is different because, if you vote in New York, if all of them voted in New York City, and they could sway something. But for the most part, if they vote left in a leftist city, why do I care? If they were doing that in Nashville, I would care, but they can't do it in Nashville.
What I would say,
they can't do it in Houston. They can't do it in Dallas. They've done it in Austin, but they're getting pushed out of Austin. I think, and maybe Clovertack could speak to that.
Well, what I would say is this: Georgia was lost by 11,779 votes. Okay, so if they could pull it off in Georgia, and you have 10 million of these, you get what I mean by that.
But 10 million. Georgia was lost by those votes because they didn't expect to lose Mariposa County completely. That's why they lost. They expected to have it broken up like it normally does, and it didn't. It didn't go that way. Now, whether or not now obviously now there's a lot of question, and there's going to be question for years about whether or not those 11,000 votes were real, right? Like that's like everybody said during the election. Everybody's like, "Well, there's no proof of voter fraud," and yet there is. They're still investigating it. They're literally investigating it 4 years later. Haven't come to a conclusion, and understand that there's 100% been voter fraud. They're not even saying that there wasn't voter fraud anymore. They're just trying to determine how bad it was. That's all.
It seems
But yeah,
fundamentally,
go ahead,
the
Chris.
issue you guys are having is not the problem of people coming into the country. It's the problem of the whole vetting process that is basically non-existent.
Well, again, I don't care if they go to if they go to cities we're going to lose anyway. I don't care. It's only when we start if they were to move into Dallas Fort Worth and be able to influence that election and pull those electoral votes, I would be unhappy about that. If you were to move them into Kentucky, for example, and we were to lose Kentucky, that would be a big deal. But I feel like the immigration thing is in the election sphere is a distractor. It's irrelevant. And this is how politics work. Look at this. Don't look at this thing over here that I'm doing. Keep looking at this. Don't look at this, because what I'm doing right over here is I'm cheating. I'm changing machines. That in Georgia they've had 4 machines that are completely missing. Right? They have multiple logs. Hard drives that logged everything. Those are missing. There's a ton of things.
What started that whole scenario was there was a guy named Mark Wingate on the Fulton County Board of Elections, and he said 147,000 2020 ballots they're still waiting for signatures on. How the hell do you call a state for one, and you have a Board of Elections member saying, "Hey guys, we never checked 147,000 ballots to make sure they were still."
I mean, look, we could go through item by item. I mean, look at Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, they had something like 10,000 votes or whatever it was that were mail-in, that were later deemed to be illegal. Couldn't do it. There's no process for that in the Pennsylvania state constitution. Not only were they illegal to start with, but even if they said, okay, special circumstances, we're making it legal, even if they had done that, the signatures weren't verified, and they were supposed to be separated so they could be vetted, but they were intentionally mixed with vetted signatures specifically to muddy the waters. And that was actually a purposeful act by people. So we know that there was interference and fraud. We just don't know how far it was. And this is one of the things that really pisses me off about conservatives who say, well, Trump wouldn't let go of election interference. Trump wouldn't let go of that he lost the election. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm sure he actually did lose the election. I mean, what we're talking about is 2 cities that wouldn't have been enough to push things the other way.
Well, what I say to that,
we don't know how much more there was, and nobody wanted to slow down to investigate it. Now, there's a bunch of things we can talk about the election, and I don't want to talk about it that much because it's all in the past. As far as predicting the future, I don't think that going forward we're going to have. I don't think they can do as much election fraud this time around. They've already tried in lower elections the past 2 years, and they've been caught each time. In mayoral and gubernatorial races, they've tried, and they haven't been able to do it.
I think and I've been telling this to in a lot of different chats or whatever. He's going to win, and
I'm sure he's going to win. Whether or not he'll ever be be able to take office, that's another question.
Most of them would disagree with what I just said, though. They'd be like, "Oh, he ain't going to win." I'm like, look at what's happening. Do you really think
Yeah,
that they would?
I don't know. I don't see any reason. I don't see any way that he doesn't win.
They try to kill
setback after setback after setback. You know, she doesn't have a good look in front of anybody.
Are you? I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to drop down and let the other take over, whatever. But are you covering or watching the debate that's coming up this upcoming week?
I don't generically watch the presidential debates because they're so horrible. I'll watch minutes and I'll and I just be honest about it, man. Like
I don't blame you.
So
it's
much
like a shit show.
Try and watch them, but it's just trope, and it's just like I would really rather play with my 4-year-old than watch the presidential debate. I'm just not even lying because he's smarter, and it's just way more fun. I'm not kidding. I mean, and look, if they had an actual debate where they had a real moderator and, they were able to snipe at each other and they were able to have an actual debate, it'd be worth watching. But I've already seen them both make speeches.
Yeah.
And I don't need to watch them make speeches. I would really
imagine a sport debate. That would be worthwhile to watch.
Yeah.
If it wasn't just going to be name calling and just, like you say, random platitudes and speeches that are pre-prepared.
I think that they're gonna turn Trump's mic off at my prediction. They're going to turn Trump's mic off at every possible chance.
Wasn't there something about them not turning the mics off that was one of the stipulations?
Well, so in the past, the presidential debates, the mics have been hot the whole time because they are supposed to be courteous to each other.
Yeah.
But they're also, if someone says something out of line, they are able to rebut, right? It's literally just like us having, if you and I Chris, were to have a debate, I would not demand that the moderator mute your mic every time I was talking. Now you might mute your mic out of, just out of respect or whatever, but I wouldn't expect the moderator to mute your mic. So
what I ended up hearing was that it was Trump's party asking for the muted mics because they were scared he's gonna just jump in and possibly, do something incorrect.
Well, I don't think Trump's side. No, I think that's hogwash. I think that's hogwash. I don't think his side revels in him saying weird shit.
She's gone for 5 days. She hasn't been seen or something like that because apparently what's happening is she's gone into a prep for the debate, and so while most people don't get the concept of what that really means, these people, okay, 90% of the media lies on that side, right? And so they pretty much have to catch this woman up on 8 years of lies and bullcrap, and they only have a couple of days to do it, and they're going to put her up against him. She's going to get smoked. I mean, I'm sorry, but
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. I think that Trump. So my viewpoint, this might be a little different, but my viewpoint is, I don't care how much they prep her. She's going to say stupid shit because Trump will make her say stupid shit. He will say something so off the wall that it'll force her to not have her game. Her game will be irrelevant. But no, I have no real intention of watching the debate. I don't have any. I will catch the minutes and I will, whatever. But the debates they used to be cool, man. They used to be cool. Like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, Clinton and Bush, that was cool. But yeah, not cool. Welcome, Anson Knowles. You finally came up for air. He has surfaced.
All right. Well, I'm going to drop down. Thanks.
Hey, thanks, Mr. Mister, man. I appreciate all of your viewpoints, and it was a good discussion.
Yeah,
it really was. I appreciate it.
No, you're awesome.
I know we don't
Like,
really
you're
disagree.
wonderful.
I know we don't really disagree, but we don't really agree either. But that's cool,
Yeah.
man. That's
That's fine. I hear you. You got a good head on your shoulders about this stuff, while a lot of people don't. A lot of the
right.
yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I think I'll think about what you said, and I hope that you think about the things I said. So
Yeah, I will. Like you said,
All right,
you know how I am. I look up everything. So
awesome. Man. It's great having you.
All right,
on.
man. Yeah. Later.
See ya. Anson Knowles is cooming like a pro. Cooming like a pro.
Do we really need more Kumas?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, T.R. Finley, that used to be against the law. They used to it used to be like a big deal. Like it was a big deal if you got the debate questions ahead of the debate. But I think he's absolutely right. I think she's had the questions for the last 2 weeks. So Chris Lestrange, I'm using the transcendental argument for cooming as my source of power to get the ladies. You should try a mustache. Try a mustache.
No, I have no game, Grid. I don't get any ladies. And
Really?
Anson is just mad because
But you're married, aren't you? Are you
debate.
married? Are you married, Chris?
I was gonna ask a longtime girlfriend to marry me a couple of years ago, and then it all went up in smoke, Grid. So
that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I got out at just the right time.
You know, sometimes that's good. Jess, how are you? Just doing the right
I'm good,
thing.
thank you.
Just doing the right thing, quiet until spoken to. Excellent. Very, very good. Very good. Yeah. It's been a good show so far. I've really enjoyed it. We started out with the Georgia school shooting. We've had actually, I think, 2 or 3 shootings over the last couple of days. It's just that one's getting all the press right now. Don't worry, they'll get around to the others. I am still not 100%, guys. You see me stretching and stuff. My kids have given me something. I don't know what it is, but at least I'm not coughing like every third word, which is annoying. So, but yeah.
Good.
It's typical of 4-year-olds.
I'm sorry?
Wasn't that a really tiny child, the one in Georgia or Atlanta?
No, they were all 14. So
okay.
there were 2 children. There were 2 children shot. They were both 14. There were 2 adults shot. One was a gym and something else teacher. The other was a math teacher. So go ahead.
A one at home where a kid apparently killed 2 people.
Oh, I haven't seen.
But it wasn't a situation.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I'm sure I will.
But yeah, that was like an 11-year-old or something. So that was quite crazy.
Yeah. So and the shooter surrendered to the SRO, which is the armed school resource officer. So I'll just say the unpopular opinion. I think the guy targeted these 2 children, and the 2 adults were either secondary targets or just got in the way. That's what I'm going to say. I don't think he was a psycho. I don't think he had, obviously have mental problems, but I don't think he was in there to just shoot up the school, take as many people with him as he could. I think he was probably bullied. That's why we were having the discussion about bullying earlier before Cheeks came in and got bullied. That was great. We were having a discussion about bullying, and Cheeks came in and got like ridiculously bullied. He's still out there too. Afternoon so far over.
He should have known that was coming.
I've never seen him look more feminine. I have to be honest with you. It was disconcerting. I think it was the glasses. I think the glasses are what does it. So,
Greg, can I pick your mind on something? Because
Yes,
it seems to be a very questionable area now that we go into. As that kid was taken alive, it becomes a big thing. What do you do with I mean, what age was that kid? Now, what
He's
is
14.
the legal?
He's 14 and
process?
he is being tried as an adult. So he could potentially get life in prison, which is, I think, currently 30 or 40 years.
Yeah, I mean that's not a tiny little fib, you know,
No,
and that's what issue becomes at, you know, even at these young ages. Do you basically hold them responsible as adults or not? You know,
in this case, I think I would. In this case,
Yeah.
because I don't think that. And look, I don't have any details of the case. I don't want anyone crucifying me on the cross of rationality. I'm simply this is whataboutism. I know I don't like whataboutism. I preach against it all the time. However, in this one case, I'm going to do whataboutism. Making an assumption that this kid really didn't. So he had posted previously about shooting up the school. He denied doing it, and this was on social media. He denied doing it. The FBI talked to him. They couldn't do anything because he's a minor, and he denied making the post at all. They referred it to the sheriff, who talked to his parents. His dad said that, yeah, they had firearms, but they were, you know, he was not allowed to be around them unsupervised. But the information that the information that's coming out is he had a plan. He planned it. He had notes, just like the shooter the shooter at the Christian school in Nashville, which is familiar to me. Clovertack saying the reports he hears are, you know, signs in history. Yep, absolutely. Just like most of the evil fuckers who do this, and yet parents, authorities, etc., do jack shit. Right. I think what we're gonna find out is that he was bullied, probably by these two people that he shot, and probably he had some grievance against the two staff people, and he hit everything he meant to hit, and he went right to the. Apparently, he literally went right to the SRO.
Do the SROs, are the SROs armed in the schools, or
some schools?
Some.
So in the schools here in Tennessee, most of the SROs are actual sheriff's deputies. They're not in the schools, but they are outside the schools so they can see anyone approaching. And they're literally like parked right outside the school, and I think they even swap out a couple of times a day. So they're on duty sheriff deputies. They're the real deal, armed, everything. So now,
yeah, that makes sense.
Now other places they have unarmed SROs. You know, a lot of it depends on the state. And matter of fact, I got a really cool picture. So if you ever want to know how, let me find it really quick while we're talking. Let me ask Jess. Jess, how are you today? While I'm looking this up.
I'm alright. I'm rolling my man some cigarettes.
You sound really tired.
I am tired, but I only just I was asleep during my stream because I've got a stream live at the moment.
You've got a stream going at the moment.
Yeah, even though I'm not on it.
You should go hang out with your stream, man.
They told me to come over here.
They told you to come over here? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Jess, I feel your stream is always up. When I see you always on stream.
I found that it didn't
That's
pay
thanks
me
to my
to
mods.
do that. Personally,
My mods run it when I'm not. Sorry, Grid.
Oh, no worries. I found that it just takes so much out of you. Because I used to do 8-hour streams. I used to do all that. And I to some degree I will. But I have a schedule, and I have a program. I even have a teleprompter sometimes I use, because without structure, the stream just kind of devolves into this kind of it kind of devolves into this thing, right? Like you can't control, and it'll just go all day and all night, and that's no good. So I'm gonna show you guys this. Let me get this ready to go. Now my buddy actually took this picture. This is of a school. Wait, what? Why did it not come? Hang on. Dang it. There we go. So this is actually a school in Colorado. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. I'll go down here. I can. This is the sign outside the school. Now, these teachers are trained by the sheriff's department.
Nice.
They go through the exact same firearms training, the same use of force training. They do everything the same as if they were going to be a police officer, except for the law, understanding the law and all that. So it's like a 2-week, or it's like a 2.5-week course or whatever. And they have to choose to do it. They're not forced to do it. They are, but they're trained, and they've never they've never had any incidents there of any kind, and they are very, very far away from help. They're very far away from help. So that's in my opinion, that is possibly the only way we prevent school shootings.
I think it's definitely one of the best things
the only
to
way
implement.
We never had school shootings when I was in school. When I was in school, I'm old enough that when I was in school, and during deer season, every pickup truck had a rifle in the back window in the parking lot of that school. The clay sports team brought their guns to school and literally took them and put them in their lockers in the hallway.
Yeah.
Just like the band kids with their band instruments, right? It was no different than the band kids bringing their whatever, I don't know what they play, but
so you guys have clay shooting at school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at my school, yeah.
Yeah, some of the schools where I grew up also had shooting in a range at the school.
Yeah, and there actually at my high school, there had been an air rifle range at the school too. CloverTax says there's a hunting season all year long, so there was literally guns and school all year long. Guns at school, I think is what he meant. Yeah, at my school during deer season, I kid you not, every single truck, every single car, everything, they all had a rifle in the back window or the trunk. During small game season, there was you could count on a small game rifle. Usually there was a pistol in the glove box. Most of my schoolmates had some form of pistol loaded with like rat shot or something like that for snakes or whatever, because they go fishing all the time too. So this was common. This was literally every single day that I went to high school, public high school, my first year. Now military school was different. We had arms on school grounds for students, but we never had a school shooting ever. That started when Joe Biden sponsored a bill called the Zero Tolerance Act. And what that did is it basically said that you can't have any weapons at school at all. And it's a zero tolerance. You get expelled. You can be arrested.
Greg, I'm actually going to give you a little bit of pushback on that. I think from what I've seen in the tiny amount of research I've done, it seems to have a correlation with all of the weird antidepressants everybody's on, and it would.
Well, that's true as well. I'm sure we're going to find out this kid is on like all of them. right? He's
Yeah,
going to be
'cause
on
that
SS.
seems to be a determination or precursor to
This
these
is true. That's
situations.
absolutely accurate right there.
And that was what, late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah, mid to late 80s. Yeah, yeah, is when the zero tolerance policy. That
So
was
pretty much a collection of a couple of bad choices and just societal situations.
well. I always thought the zero tolerance policy was really garbage because it basically took away the well. First of all, it effectively for a very long time it took all guns out of school, which means all of the clay sports teams, all the rifle teams, all of that. That you couldn't have the guns at school.
Yeah,
So,
which is that in itself a problem because you guys, it's interesting that you guys have clay shooting. We had target practice, so 22s, like 22 bolt action rifles, that kind of, and then air rifles, and then obviously archery as well. I'm not sure if you guys do that as well.
yeah. Yeah, so it's it I mean, again, it was a different time. We weren't everything wasn't bullying. Sometimes if a kid just didn't like you and took a poke at you, that's not bullying. That's just, being kids. So,
But bullying is not bad. It seems like there's a
yeah,
tendency to snap or for exaggerated responses lately because bullying has never been a massive issue unless you were physically abused by a child every day or
yeah. So Clovertack makes a good point here. I don't have a problem necessarily with weapons being banned for the kids. It is hand tying the teachers, staff, and even licensed visitors that are a problem for me. So I would agree in elementary school, sure. And I think that my elementary school probably had a no weapon policy. You couldn't bring knives and stuff. Although I think I did once take a pocket knife to school, and it wasn't that big a deal. My teacher took it away at the beginning of school and gave it back to me at the end of the day. Go home. Wasn't a big deal.
we could have knives as well. Nobody gave a shit.
Well, I think in middle school and high school, I don't think the pocket knives were a big deal. They didn't care. And in high school, the guns didn't matter. You couldn't wear one around, right? Like you weren't, there wasn't the Wild West, but they were in the cars. They were in your lot, and like I said, there were kids on the clay sports teams that would bring their guns in and put them in their lockers, just like the band kids brought their flutes in and put them in their lockers or in the band room or wherever, So that's my problem with the state of our country right now is I think that that's a problem. And then
yeah, people all of a sudden forget how gun safety works. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely that's not the case. So, but it's just crazy to me. You guys leave them in your vehicles. Like that's not something that we can, could ever do.
Yeah.
It
used to be one of the most common things in the world was to see trucks, pickup trucks driving around with rifles in the back window.
Yeah, I always see that in movies and stuff. You guys have them. We never had a culture of that.
Yeah.
You could never leave firearms unattended in any capacity.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's actually TR Finley, when I was in third grade, I brought not a samurai sword. I brought a sword to school for show and tell. Actually, in third grade, I did that as well. Not even kidding.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
nice.
very funny that he brought a samurai sword. I just brought a sword. I agree. Clovertack, the bullying. I don't know. I don't think the bullying's worse. I think kids are less able to deal with it because they don't understand how to turn a computer off. So, because a lot of the bullying we're talking about is Instagram, Snapchat, shit like that. Look, if you guys piss me off, I'll just turn the screen off and go the fuck away. I don't care. That's why nobody.
Yeah, but also,
go ahead.
yeah, but I mean, but also you said something valid. It's the phones. A lot of it back in the day, somebody would call you know, your mom a whore or something, and like punch you in the nuts, and then carry on with their day. Now you get filmed, and that shit gets put on Instagram, and you get made fun of for 2 days for that, and that's not the same level.
Well, so in the olden days, it wasn't a message sent around that, you know, people laughed at for 5 minutes and then moved on with their day. It used to be that it started in the morning. Oh, hey, did you hear that so and so's mom's a whore? Oh, ha ha, that's funny. And then, you know, and it literally would continue for the 8 hours you were in school, the 2-hour bus ride home, and then maybe once you got home it ended. But usually somebody would call you up and be like, "Hey, man, did you hear your mom's a whore?" And you know, so I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know that I honestly don't know that it's any better, because if somebody puts out an Instagram post at 8 a.m., is it really even a thing by lunchtime? Like there's a new Instagram post, right? So
I mean, you make a compelling argument, but I still it
That's my
still
job.
depends. I don't think the durations are the same nowadays. I mean, you can make an argument for the attention span, but I mean, I guess so, but that's more cultural things. It's not. I'm not sure there's every hour a new story going around the school. I mean, you would also have to factor in it actually spreading and becoming a thing. But you are actually you were right at the start. It is the handling of the situation that's the problem, because it's always been prevalent.
So I'm gonna address this, and it'll probably piss a lot of people off. I don't really care, but it probably will. So here's the deal. My son has zero social media. None. No Facebook, no Instagram, no Snapchat. He doesn't even have the app on his phone. No TikTok. Yeah. He watches TikTok on his laptop, but he doesn't have like an account where he can like communicate with anybody or anything like that. He is not allowed to when he plays video games online. He doesn't play video games where there's communication, two-way communication.
Okay. Is this the 8 your older son?
14. He's 14.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So and there's just no reason for him to do that. So if you're going to so while I'm positive that there have been people, now he has a phone. He has a phone. He just doesn't. I have beat him about the head so much with, hey, you have to do it right. Social media is a big deal. You know, don't let people get in your head. You're here. You go to school to go to school. You don't go to school to do anything else. It's not a social club. You can, if you want to belong to a social club, you can. As a matter of fact, he belongs to Boy Scouts specifically as his social club. That's where he can do whatever he wants. He can talk crap. He can he can goof off, whatever. I don't care. When he goes to school, that's school time. And I think parents have failed so many children because they allow everything. Yeah. Social media, whatever they want. No control. No controls over the phone. He gets 1 hour of phone time a day. 1 hour.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I think you're doing it right, Grid. The thing is, this cultural norm of having kids glued to screens is a problem. It makes me sad when I see small little kids glued to screens. Like older, fine, make your arguments. But anything below 6 to 7 years, I don't want to see with a screen in their face. It's so weird.
Well, I don't want to see a kid under 18 have his screen in his face in a screen all the time. I just don't want to see it. I have to see it because it's just the way it works. But you know, and he has to use his computer for school. But he literally has. I have total control of all of his electronic devices. I will turn his internet off if he's watching YouTube. So if he tells me he's doing his homework and I just log into my into the internet, and what it shows me is that he's been on YouTube for an hour, I turn his internet off. No
yeah, so
questions
you
asked.
can monitor his activity.
Yeah, I monitor. Well, why wouldn't I? I'm his parent. It's my job.
Yeah. No. I'm surprised. That's a really cool. That makes sense to me. Yeah. I'm like, man, that sounds good. That you can actually monitor time spent and all of that via your device.
I track his phone.
I can do that too with my router. My router's got a special app that I can do all that as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I have I have the app put on his phone to where if he there's a geofence, and if he leaves it, I know. So if he's on, if he decides that he's going to go down the block, I don't care. If he tries to go to the gas station on the corner, I care about that. So immediately, if he leaves in that direction, I know instantly.
Yeah.
How many kids have you got, Grid?
2. I have a 14-year-old and a 4-year-old.
I have a 4-year-old as well.
Yeah, my 4-year-old's awesome. He's hilarious. Cracks me up.
Best age, actually.
Yeah, that age they're the funniest, man.
He's always been a really sweet kid, but he is just like so hilarious. My other one was too. So both of them, we got lucky, man. My son's a full-blown teenager right now. He's rebelling. He wants, he doesn't understand why he can't watch YouTube all night. He doesn't understand why, I put certain limits on, and that kind of thing. But I mean, he understands it. He just doesn't like it. I couldn't hear you.
I'm sure you explain it to him, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, he understands it. He just doesn't like it.
Did that with my brother. My brother's 15, and he does nothing but sit in his room and play video games. I tried because I don't talk to my mum now, but I tried so hard to encourage him to do something. Like even I was trying to get him to do a lawn mowing thing because he lives in a nice neighborhood where he could earn some good money doing that. But he'd rather nag my mum and tell my mum how horrible she is, and she's on government payments. Like she doesn't have money to give him, but he could easily go do that himself.
So I know this is going to sound like
rules in. She did for me, but she didn't for him. Sorry, Grid.
That's all right. I know this is going to sound like that. I'm like kind of like gassing myself up as a dad, but let me tell you some truisms. I've taught my son about money since he was old enough to understand the words. He understands things cost money. He understands if he breaks things, that costs money. He understands that. He understands all of that. One of the proudest moments of my life is at summer camp when he was in 3rd grade. So that was he was probably he was going into 3rd grade. So he was probably like 9 years old. Right. And 8 or 9. And at the end of the week, so 3 weeks of summer camp, at the end of the week on Friday, they would walk down to this little country store and they could buy ice cream or a soda or a cookie or whatever. So we were as parents, we were supposed to give the kids about $5 so that they could do so. Yeah. He didn't tell me that. He got the money from my father-in-law. When I asked him about the money, he said Grandpa gave it to him. And I'm like, why did Grandpa give it to him? And he's like, well, I forgot. Grandpa gave it to me. I said, okay, well, you need to ask me from now on. I said, plus, I know that you have money because you get paid an allowance to clean to put the dishes away, clean the table after the meals and things like that. I know you have money. So why are you not using your money for this? This is for you. This isn't for us as a family. So why are we paying for this? Basically, it was just a simple question. I wasn't being mean about it. Any of that.
Yeah. Just perspective.
I'm like, what do you think about that? Well, Dad, I think this. So the following Friday, and he had not asked me for the money. I had the $5 in my pocket, and I was ready for him to say Grandpa gave him the money. I have a picture of it. I'm not going to try and find it because it'd take me forever because I didn't mark it or anything. I'm like, hey, man, as we're riding to the bus to take him to camp for the day, I'm like, hey, man, do you have is it Friday? He's like, yep. I'm like, what happens on Friday? He's like, oh, we're going to go to the store. We're going to take the field day. And I'm like, yeah. Okay. Do you have any money? He's like, yep. And I'm like, do you get it from Grandpa? He's like, nope, it's my money. And he pulls out 3 wrinkled ass ones and $3 in change. So it's not he didn't have $5, he had $6 and like 80 cents. I was one of the proudest moments of my life as a dad. It really was.
Yeah.
Because not only did he not ask Grandpa for the money, he used his money. And he didn't say anything about it. He didn't whine about it. He didn't cry about it. He just used his money. And so, and he's to this day, he does that. A couple of years ago, he was at Boy Scout camp with another kid. And this kid, the troop recommends they give him $20. We normally give our son about 3 times that, just because he's going to want a souvenir, and he wants a soda or not a soda, but an ice cream or something. And we give him a little extra money. He earns it, or he'll just take his own money. Either way, it doesn't matter. So, I was talking to my son about the camp after it was over, and he's like, I'm like, hey man, how was camp? He's like, dude, it was awesome. I'm like, cool, man. Anything cool happen? He's like, yeah, this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, how much money do you have left? I'm just curious. He's like, oh, I have this much left. I'm like, okay, well, what'd you spend it on? And he starts recounting everything that he had. I had ice cream, and then I had an icy, and then I bought a t-shirt, and he's like, oh, and I bought this other kid. I'm not going to say his name. I bought this other kid a drink. And I'm like, what? That sounded weird. I'm like, why'd you have to buy your buddy a soda or whatever it was? And he's like, oh, he only had money for a hamburger, so I bought him his drink. Can you imagine a 12-year-old kid buying another 12-year-old kid a soda with his own money when he doesn't have to? That kid could have just easily drank water with his hamburger, but he wanted his buddy to have a soda and didn't ask anything for it. Never mentioned it again. Wasn't even going to tell me about it. You imagine that?
Yeah, I'm not going to blow my own horn, but I used to do that too. I had some friends that I knew were in bad spots in their homes, so I ended up doing that as well when we were a kid. But it's just I was raised well. I'll give my mom credit.
I think that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to raise well, because I think that for the most part, we don't do that as parents anymore. We really seem to avoid doing it. How do I want to put this? Like, it's all about that kid. There's nothing about helping his friend. My son will do things that are just odd to me, but they make perfect sense to him because he's trying to help somebody else. He gets merits at school fairly consistently for doing, just like he held the door for the entire senior class one day to walk out of the lunchroom. And he didn't have to do that. Matter of fact, it was weird. They actually remember him specifically for doing that. Like for the entire following year, all the seniors were like, "You're the kid that held the door for us," because it's probably an odd thing, right? Well.
Yeah,
so.
they were probably cool with him. That it's weird. The good thing that you're teaching him is respect and like accountability for things, because man, so many kids in high school got messed up the first year we went to high school, and I just didn't, because I did the right things towards the seniors. They liked me, and when there was hazing and things happening, I was just chilling with the seniors and left alone. It's, if you just show respect, you're not a little asshole. You usually get quite a lot of privileges from people for just being decent.
Well, I remind my son all the time. He used to threaten him with taking his toys away and giving them to the poor kids. I'm like, you don't realize how rich you are and how good a life you have, if you're not going to value it, I will take all of your toys and I will give them to the poor kids. I'm like, we know that there are poor kids that really don't have the things that you have. And so I will take, I would literally tell them, if you're not going to value it, if you're going to break this, if you're going to cry about that, if you're going to throw a fit about this, why do you need this? Why do you deserve this? How, in what way have you earned what you have? And and he is, he's really taken that to heart. And so it makes him respectful. He says, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. He is very polite. He is, he's respectful of other people's things and all of that, all of that kind of thing. And I did it on purpose. Sorry?
Yeah, it's good to learn that, not just in a social sense, but it actually carries weird things later on in life, because I have some things when I used to be young that are still intact, like toys and things that I looked after, because I was taught that, don't break your shit because you're not going to get more, and respect what you have. So by proxy, you respect other people's stuff. And later on in life, you still have stuff that you didn't destroy that you can look back on, comics or toys or whatever.
So one of the ways that's culminated is my son and I, so my wife is fixated on college for my son, right? Like all moms are, I'm sure. And and she wants him to go to a top tier school. And they asked when she asked him, I think last year, what school he wanted to go to, he said MIT. It's a good school.
Nice.
It's also very expensive.
He's going to be an engineer. Is he going to be a mechanical engineer?
Yeah.
Mechanical engineer.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're talking about, he and I were talking about, that's a very expensive school. He needs to start planning on how he's going to get there, how he's going to stay there once he's there. And so he'd been talking for the last few months about going into the Marines and then coming out and going into college. My wife asked him why he wanted to do that. And he said, well, I don't want to be a financial burden to you and Dad. The Marines will pay me to go to college. Nice. And that's pretty damn grown up.
That's pretty based right there. That's pretty based.
That's pretty grown up.
Yeah.
And so my wife was like, well, we have money, and it's not. And she's like, you don't have to think of yourself as being a burden to us, sending you to college, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And they had a whole conversation about it. And it was really an interesting conversation, because when I tell the other dads in my scout troop that I have this conversation with my son, they're like, that's crazy. We don't have that. Like one of the other dads, his son thinks he's going to be a game streamer. Like that's his thing, is he thinks he's going to be able to make enough money to survive streaming video games. And I'm like, well, you're about 3 years late on that, pal. And maybe you can make it, but
Greg, I want to interrupt you. Chat, you better show Greg some love and give some likes. Giving A grade raising kids advice better than all these damn mommy bloggers out there.
Yeah. Roland Thorne has actually met my son in person. And what's your assessment, Roland? He's an author too, so he'll be able to write a very nice, eloquent description.
Yeah. No, because I appreciate the chats, Grid. As I said, I would like to have kids, so it's always interesting to me. And like I told you on a previous one, I'm uncle to 5 baby girls, so it's always interesting for me, watching them. But unfortunately, they're in front of screens way too much.
That's right, my son.
I'm gonna hop down, guys.
Thorns.
So you can continue this conversation, because I think that you could get some value out of asking him some questions and stuff. And I'm so exhausted anyway. I should get some
go
sleep.
to bed. Why are you still here?
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying anything anyway, and you, like I said, you're having an in-depth conversation, so I'm just going to step down.
You're
I can
welcome
stay
to
in the
join
chat.
the in-depth conversation.
Yeah. I might come back. Maybe, but I'll hang out in the chat for a while.
Okay.
My man just got up for work and stuff like that, so I want to say goodbye to him and stuff.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so I might be back. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll be getting some sleep if I don't.
You should get some sleep.
I should.
Yep.
Thanks for having me up. Anyway.
All right.
On the
Good night.
stream last night, when you uncammed with chaotic, you looked so dead, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't sleep for 2 days, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Anyway,
son actually paid. See you, Jess. My son actually paid Roland Thorne's entry fee to the match that we shot.
That's cool.
Because he didn't have cash on him, and I had just enough cash to pay for mine and hit my son's, and my son's like, "Well, I've got $20." I'm like, "Cool, pay for it." That's really funny. That's very funny.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a quiet kid. He's not super braggadocious or anything. But
no, it sounds like you can give yourself a pat on the shoulder, Grid. Sounds like you thought.
Well, I'm not done. Job's not done yet. There's no patting of shoulders yet. We've got 4 more years. He's 18.
Yeah.
And then he's the county sheriff's responsibility.
But you did mention something which I've also thought about is sometimes you also, what if he is, let's say he is inclined to be this insane esports gamer? Because that could be possible. Maybe he's got some insane tendency or knack with his hand-eye coordination to be one of the top-level players in one of these things. Now you find yourself with, do you hinder them from playing the games? How do you manage or identify where their skill sets lie?
So my son's never really cared about video games. Even when he would go spend, do sleepovers and stuff with his friends, he's way more interested in Legos and building stuff and taking things apart and just doing things like, real world, solid with his hands kind of things. Or he wants to watch like TV or something. There's no like, he doesn't care much. He doesn't really care anything about video games. So we've never really even had to have a big talk about, hey, you're spending too much time playing video games. The biggest thing I ever have to tell him is like, you can't spend 2 hours playing video games when you should be doing your homework. That's basically it. Like I never have to say, hey, you've spent 8 hours and not moved. Right.
Yeah.
So we haven't gotten there yet. I mean, it could happen, but he doesn't so he's kind of transitioned into like more adult things like shooting, hiking, backpacking, camping. Like he's 14 going on 20 basically. Right. Like he's just kind of skipped a lot of that. And he's big. And my son's like right at 6 foot and 180 pounds. Like he's not.
You mentioned that.
Yeah.
He's not a kid.
Yeah. And when I tell him that all the time, I'm like, you have to act like a man because everyone's going to treat you like a man. And
and Roland Thorne actually said it in chat now. Lego and like techniques, Meccano, Skynetic, all of these things I believe are like fundamental for kids because you're doing pretty much engineering, constructing things. I feel like that's really good toys to get kids, especially nowadays. The model kits and stuff are so insane. I mean, back in the day, we had like those tanks and planes that you could build if you upgrade from Lego, but that was about it.
Yeah. So he's always been into that that kind of like, he's always drawn things. He's always like, I would get in the car and he would say, he would ask me something like, what would I have to do to armor up a Jeep and to make it work, right? Like, because he understood that you're going to add all of this weight, you're going to, it's going to need more power, you're going to have to do this, you're going to have to do, I mean, he understood that. And I'm talking like when he was 12, he's like, I want to build an armored Jeep. And I'm like, okay, how would I do that? Here you go. And so he, so he's really kind of into that whole design sort of thing. But he's actually pretty talented overall. Flow State, he wants a Jeep really bad. Like he really wants a Jeep, and we actually have a Mini Cooper that I think he's gonna that would probably be his first car because we want him to drive a manual transmission. So my wife feels very strongly that you should learn to drive in a manual, and I do too. But it was cool that my wife is the one pushing for the manual transmission car.
Yeah, you gotta. It's very weird to me when I hear all of you Americans like drive automatics. I'm like, nobody here drives. We all drive stick shift. Like we don't drive automatic. Like nowadays, there's a lot more automatics. But
I think it's just the people I hang out with, or maybe it's just a culture of the people that we're kind of drawn together. One of the coolest memories I have is a few years ago. I was at a match in Texas, and one of my good friend's son, and at that time I think he was 12 or 13, and his name's Gabe. His name's Gabe, and the year before I had come out there, he was a little bit younger. I didn't know what he was actually like. He was part of the staff at that point. Like he was helping us, and and we were shooting the match. And I remember I had like my first stage, I had a problem with my shotgun. I had just gotten off a plane, so I didn't have my pocket knife in my pocket. And I'm like, knife. And this little like 10-year-old kid is the first one with a pocket knife. Yes. He's like, here you go. Because I was up on this bridge, and I used it. I fixed it. I actually stuck it in the bridge and finished shooting, and then I gave it back to him. And so the next year I gave him an automatic knife, an out the front automatic knife. And I asked his parents and said, hey, is it okay, if he has this? And they're like, yeah, absolutely, it's no problem. So one of the coolest memories though I have of that kid is him, in shorts and a t-shirt and a beat up hat. We're down in Texas. So it's a lot like the bush, honestly, because it's all overgrown, trees and tall grass and all that. And he's driving around in a Suzuki Samurai with no top on it, big oversized tires. It's a farm vehicle, so it probably hasn't been on a public road in like 10 years, right? Like that's what they do. And so it's him in this with a dog and another kid that's even smaller than him, and they're driving around the range in this vehicle, like, handing out water, moving targets around and things like that. It's a manual transmission, and it's just one of the coolest, most American things that
that's why I always said if I was to come to the States, it would have to be somewhere red or like Texas, because that's similar. We had a kid in our school. We would go to their wildlife farm, Hilux double cab, also chopped off farm vehicle. We're 12. We jump in and we go drive around the wildlife farm at 12. It wasn't like a thing. Or everybody had knives. You had to. There's dangerous animals. Like as a kid, I had an instance where I wanted to go play on the jungle gym. I go to my dad and I tell him, "Oh, there's monkeys on the jungle gym," and he says, "There's a broom. Go sort it out." So I had to grab a broom at like 8 and go fight monkeys to get them
up. That's awesome. That's awesome. That may be the most awesome thing I've heard in a while. Yeah, to go beat the monkeys up with brooms.
Yeah, my dad was just like, it's your problem. There's a stick.
Yeah.
Take a stick and go defend your territory. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. In China, you have to, and in most countries, I think, you have to take your driving test with a manual transmission car. So my wife learned how to drive in a manual transmission car, and that's what she took her driving test in, and all of that. So, she drives manual just fine, and she's pretty adamant about my son driving a manual transmission. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, we had to for a long time, but I think it changed now. Like lately it changed, but it used to be a thing here as well, where we had to do manual to get a license.
Yeah. I don't know, it's interesting, because we're talking about kids, I guess, because of the school shooting. And so my son, obviously he's had to learn to not, one of the first things I taught him was never talk about guns at school. Just don't talk about them. You can talk about them with me. You can talk about, when we're on the range, you can talk to everybody, all of our friends. They all love guns. You can talk about them all you want to, but you cannot talk about them at school. And it took him a little while to be cool with that. He's still not really cool with it. It still kind of stings.
But I'm sure that's why I asked earlier. I'm sure you explained these things to him so that he can rationalize and get the understanding why it's not appropriate.
Well, and I mean, look, we've played so many games over the years that are teaching games, right? Like I had I used to basically have to check him every day before he left for school, because he would take a Matchbox car, or he would take, he had a wooden pocket knife. It's a kit that you build a pocket knife out of these wooden parts, and it works. I mean, it's even locks back and everything. And he would take that, and I would have to, I'd be like, nope, can't take that. And some other things. So I would have to basically stop him every morning. Okay, what do you have? What kind of contraband do you have? So he actually learned the word contraband very early in life. And and then
the prison warden.
Yeah. And then I got to where we were like, I was like, okay, where's my gun today? And I'd make him look at me and determine where my concealed carry was that day. And so he was, nice. And he's actually pretty good at saying, that guy's carrying on his hip, that guy's carrying, that guy's got an ankle holster on, that got, whatever.
Yeah.
And so
it's good that you're teaching as well.
Yeah. I would ask him every morning, where's my gun today? So, and then, and that was good, because it teaches him to look at people, not just as a person coming towards you, but hey, this guy's got, something that's probably a gun, on his side, or, whatever. So it's an interesting, I mean, look, not everybody teaches their kids these things. I understand that. But I remember I was teaching a class at a gun shop one time, and of course he was little, so he had to go sit in a classroom, and he's little, so he doesn't sit very well. So he starts playing with one of the staff there, and they have these what I call blue guns, which are fake training guns that are colored blue, so they're not real, and all of that. And my son had one, and one of the staff took it away from him, and he just the one that the staff could see was the one he was supposed to take, because he just pulled out another. It was like, here you go. It's like, see, that's my son. You're supposed to find that one. It was very funny. And but it was but he's pretty sharp for a kid, and he's had to deal with my sense of humor his whole life. So he's really tough. So I think we'll see.
The observation is very good, Grid. We had a chat with another guy about just this and the problems with, unfortunately, not to be misogynistic, but with the females not being as observant to surroundings and happening around them, which is weird, because it's something I've even seen older and younger generation, where the guys seem to be more watching people, assessing surroundings, and he was explaining how our like most dangerous neighborhoods here, he ended up on the wrong road, ended up in the heart of like where you do not want to be in, especially if you're white, let's put it that way. And they're stuck in roadworks, and she pulls out a Mac laptop, and he's like, you want to get us killed right now, like where's your brain? And it's that like observational skills where he's like, you know what, please put that under the seat, like I'm scared we're not going to make it out of here, and you whipping out all of our technology to sit and work, which is ridiculous. So it's good you're teaching him to be aware, look at people, assess threats beyond just, you know, weapons and all of that.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting thing, you know. I don't know, you know, it's just I have a 4-year-old to teach the same things, you know. So I get to refine my technique.
Yes. And see if it's better on the next run.
Yeah.
Like making whiskey, you'll only know when it's like 15, 18 years aged. Yeah. Good.
Yep. Yeah, my like I said, my son's a full on teenager now, so he's really, you know, he wants to be left alone. He has like he can have some anger spikes, you know, where he just for like no random reason he wants to yell at you, and I'm like, why are you yelling at me? He's like, oh, I don't know. So I mean, he's got the whole thing going on, man. He's got too much testosterone, you know. I have to remind him all the. What's that?
Yeah. No. Sorry. You carry on.
I was going to say I have to remind him that he needs to work out, you know, and I have to remind him how strong he really is. A lot of times he still thinks of himself as being, you know, kind of weak and not able to do things. And I'm like, dude, you're really strong. Like you can do this.
Did he just have like crazy puberty or what?
No, he was just like normal size, and then he's like this. It was like a year. It took a year and a half, and he was just like, it was a crazy amount of growth.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, which is, you know, that's kind of the way it goes, right? It's kind of the way it goes.
You fed him the right stuff, Greg.
What's
whatever
that?
you fed him. I said whatever you fed him was the right stuff, you know.
Yeah. A lot of meat, a lot of red meat, a lot of steak. So he eats what I eat. So he's traveled all over the country with me. He's met a lot of really famous shooters, and he's been to matches. You know, he understands all of the how to do things, you know, how to do things right and all of that. So it's pretty good. So next thing is I'm teaching him to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask that with you doing being into the racing and stuff. I know I grew up around a lot of guys that also were in that field, and usually their kids would from small be building go-karts and stuff and doing go-kart races. So I wanted to ask about that.
I really didn't push him in any specific direction. He likes cars, okay, but they're not like he never cared that much about go-karts. He never cared that much about anything. Now, no, we got him a pit bike 2 years ago, 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And it's one of those things where it doesn't have it's just a mini bike. It doesn't have a clutch. It's 5.5, 7 horsepower, something like that. It's not very fast. But he rode that thing so much, the rear tire is bald. And he actually is constantly asking, "Hey, can you give me a new tire? Can you give me a new tire?" And I'm like, we have other motorcycles to ride. Why do I want to take the time to fix that? And so now I've got him an actual motorcycle with a clutch. And I think because he's grown so much, he needs to learn how to just relax his fingers on the clutch, because he's trying to just move his hand, and he just keeps stalling it. And of course that, again, full on teenager, the minute he stalls it 2 or 3 times, by the third time he's embarrassed. He wants to go in the house. He doesn't want to deal with it anymore. But he'll get there. He'll be fine. Just typical teenager stuff, you know. He gets really nervous but excited if I ask him to move one of the cars. It's just
nice.
He's just like, oh, it's like, it's so cool, but at the same time, he's so nervous about moving one of the cars, and because he's afraid he'll scratch it or he'll hit, whatever. So, but he's getting there. He's getting over the fear. He's naturally, he just, his nature is that he is naturally reserved and he doesn't want to fail. So, like most people, I think most people aren't. Hey, Mike Dornan, how are you? We've just been kind of chatting the last little bit here. We have about half an hour to go in the show, which is great because my voice is held up. I've only coughed a few times, so hopefully we'll stay that. That was probably Jess or Sirius Shelby gave you the gifted sub. They are the sub gifters. They love doing that. So Chris, how old are you? Like 30, 35?
I'm 33.
33. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I started looking to get married when I was 34. Prior to that, I hadn't had any interest in getting married. None at all.
Yeah, with me, Gred, I'm probably more like your son. Let me put it this way. I was a naughty little shit when I was younger, and pretty much I kind of skipped like 10 years of my life. I did all of my partying before I even hit 20. And by 19, I was 19 when I worked on Mad Max Fury Road. So I was on a professional movie at 19, and then built my career and became a professional at that age. So by 1920, I wasn't like no fucking around. It was work focused since then. So
that's actually how I did. That's what happened to me to some degree.
Yeah. So for me now, I've done my career for, I was in movies for over 10 years and started another business, and I'm like 33 now. So I've kind of skipped a couple of years.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever talked about it with you where you've heard it, but so I got out of military school and I had an option of going into the military, which I did not choose, of going to a college on a scholarship, which would have probably been a good choice, except that it was at a really big school, and I honestly felt like all I was going to do would be to just go out and be really super social. And I just didn't think that was a good idea. And so I went to college when I was managing theaters when I was in college because of the fact I had gone to the military school. By the time I was 19 and 20, I was already managing movie theaters for a company out of Atlanta, but I was in the Nashville area. And I did that for 2 or 3 years. And I was really focused on getting out of college and getting into a career. And then I got out of college and I decided that the careers that were available, I didn't like the idea of it. And so, I had been racing during that period of time. And so I just decided that I wanted to be in racing. And I literally just made a decision one day that this pays way better than the alternative. And I get to be outside. So and play with mechanical things and learn stuff and all the things that I like. So I did that forever, and I almost got married when I was in college. I didn't, almost got married twice in college. I didn't. And then I just didn't care about getting married or really even dating that much. I mean, I dated, but I didn't date a ton until I was until I decided to get married when I was 33. And when I got, and then between 30 at 33, I was like, you know what? I need to quit messing around. I need to find someone that matters to me. And I started a few girls. I tried dating in my age group, and that that sucked. It was terrible. A lot of baggage, a lot of really messed up women with a lot of issues, and a lot of women with kids, which I didn't have a problem with. As a matter of fact, it was dating a woman with a kid that convinced me that I needed to get married.
Yeah.
But a lot of those women they're so messed up that I just couldn't get there. And so I ended up dating younger, and I dated my wife's 11 years younger than me. So, yeah. And I got married when I was 35.
It makes sense, but that's why I also think, like, you know, with we spoke about it the other day, the Red Bull prescriptives and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like one of the best ones is to if you're a young guy, is to just sort out your life and focus on what you want to do and work. And I did the same thing. Didn't do much dating, just focused on work. It's the best way to keep your nose.
Yeah, I think that it's I think that it's meaningful for young men. If you're not married by about the age of 22, 23, you should probably just kind of set that aside.
Yeah.
And then just power through until you're for that next, 7 or 8 years. It's not long, 7 or 8 years. Build a life, build a career, start a business, do all of those things. And then start looking for a wife. And I mean, like a real, like not red pill, like high value woman stuff. I'm talking about, find that, start opening the idea up to being, hey, I want to be married. I want to come home to a wife every night. I want to have that relationship in my life. I need somebody besides me to rely on. Because when I was in my late 20s, I might as well have been homeless, really, because I was on so much traveling. I kept most of my actual possessions I kept in a storage warehouse. Like I didn't even I had a room in a house, but most of my actual possessions were in a warehouse. Because why? I was never home to enjoy them. I was always at some racetrack somewhere, some race shop somewhere. I was in wherever, and so I just didn't I just didn't do anything. I wasn't permanent. And then I needed to be, and then I just felt like, hey, you know what? I need to be permanent. And that actually came with so I was in Denver at the time. And so at that point we got married, we settled down. I spent right at probably 8 years in Denver after I got married, and then moved basically back here. There was a year or two there where I was kind of floating around, but I mean, men can live that kind of lifestyle where they're basically homeless, where they just I don't need that much. I don't, there's not a whole lot I need more than will fit in a couple of duffel bags. Certainly not more than will fit under the back seat of my truck. And, so I could drive all over the country.
That's the case. We don't, jeans and a t-shirt, wallet, watch, knife, you're good to go. A phone, you're good to go. You don't need that much.
I can stop at any Walmart and get a new wardrobe. I can stop at a truck stop and buy new socks. It doesn't matter. I'm good to go. And so Sorry?
That's lucky. That's actually very lucky, because my situation was never like that. And now currently, because now I have a whole workshop attached to my place. So I'm kind of locked down, and everybody that comes here is like, dude, for you to move or pack up is going to be a horror show, because for what I did, I needed to accumulate tools and a workshop, which is a bit of an issue. I can't just pack up and go.
Yeah. So, fortunately for me, most of the race teams I worked for had all of that.
Yeah.
I didn't start my own shop until after I was married. I thought about it several times, and there were always people like, dude, you're really talented. You should do your own thing. And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, that requires a lot. It requires a lot of commitment. It requires a lot of space. It requires a lot of literally everything. I mean, do I really want to do that?
Yeah, it's the same reason I never had animals. Is that same reason I love animals, love all kinds of animals, but you realize the implication of having them. You kind of have to look after them. So I never did that, and the only reason I have the cat now is because it's my ex's cat, and I love the cat too much to let her go to a shit mode. Yeah, so I kind of it's my cat now.
Anson Knowles would like to buy your painting for $200.
And okay, I'll tell Anson, like, you can pop me a message on Discord, but the painting my dad did, so it's kind of mine, but he's an artist, so you can go check out his other stuff if you want.
There you
but
go.
You can't buy my painting. That's
not
painting.
That one. You have to get another one.
No, that's a oil painting my dad did for my birthday. That's my painting.
That's pretty interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Glenn was talking as well. My dad also does like acting and stuff. So when Glenn was like he worked with Dolph Lundgren, it was funny because my dad also did on a movie a while back. So I was like, that's pretty funny.
Interesting. So your dad is in the movie industry as well?
Yeah. So, but my dad's cool, Greg, but he's not as much of a dad as he is a friend. I think he left and went overseas when I was like 4 or 5. So he only came back to South Africa a couple of years ago. He was pretty much gone overseas all the time. Yeah.
Well, that's not as
we kind of had contact when I was already a man. So he's more of a friend than a dad as much, but he's cool. I respect him.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Well, let's we're getting ready to wrap up the stream. We got about 15 minutes maybe. Do you have anything else, Chris, that you really need to say today? What did you think of Fatty's? Did you see Team Fatty versus the trans lad yesterday?
Wait, was that with Glenn and them?
No, it was so Team Fatty's doing that his debate challenge thing or whatever they call it. I don't know what it is. Well, he had that that trans from Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And they were debating the manosphere. And Fatty let that person prattle on for like half an hour. If Ghost 1978 is in the chat, he was there for sure. It was rough, man. It was rough. It was rough to watch. I was like, dude, don't let them prattle on, because Fatty would kind of get into feelings a little bit, but Fatty was really giving like reasonable descriptors, reasonable arguments. It would switch over to the trans lad, and I know the name. I just don't say it. And actually, it's the full name is that plus liar, and so I just basically call it person liar. Thank you, Ghost 1978. What was your assessment of the show, Ghost? I would love to hear it. But during this debate,
was it just game surging, I assume, and taking
things out of context? Was really calm for the most part, and so was the trans lad.
Okay,
but Fatty could make some reasonable points and reasonable arguments. The trans lad their only argument was feelings.
Yeah.
I feel this, I feel that, I feel this thing, I feel the other thing, I feel. And I'm like, oh my God, just shoot me now. This is terrible. What is going on? And I was in chat just like Stop it, fatty. Why are you letting that happen? Stop the prattle. Stop the prattle now.
Was it meant to be a debate, and he was just
it was a
prattling and
debate.
not making.
It was a debate. They were debating the manosphere. Specifically,
And
I think how the manosphere harmed men or something like that, or harmed relationships. And literally, the translag, all they wanted to talk about really was women. Women feel this, women feel that, women want this, and like, what does that got to do? Feelings aren't arguments. Nobody
dudes
cares
that don't
how you
really
feel.
know, but they don't really know women. I mean, I don't know. This maybe Fatty does. I don't know. I mean,
well, yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that the other point is I understand that people want to be sensitive, but a fully equipped dude, even a dude dressing in a dress pretending to be a woman, is not a woman and cannot speak to what women think and or feel. Right? Like that. Yeah. I can't speak to what women feel like. I can't say my wife feels like this unless she has specifically told me, hey, when you do this, I feel like this. Then I can say my wife reports that she feels like this. Not all women may feel like this, but my wife does. And yes, appeal to emotion is a common fallacy. And it was literally the entire argument on the trans lads' side. The entire argument was feelings. And they would go, well, red pill men don't get married. And I'm like, well, first of all, you have no statistic to back that up. There's no facts there to back that up. And Rollo, who literally wrote the book, is married.
Yeah.
Thor.
That's what I don't get.
Thor, or RP Thor is married and has been married for decades, right? A lot of men in the red pill space, even the content creators who you would think would not be married, because why would they get married if they're trying to, if they're working a doctrine? They're married. So, and I was like, dude, Fatty, just bury this already. Come on, man. And he would just start talking, and he would make rambling ass points. And he landed. I mean, most of his points were solid, right? Like, but he never. So the thing about when people want to argue about what the red pill, anytime that someone wants to argue, and I can argue red pill from both sides. I can say, I can argue that red pill is bad because a large number of men that attempt to live by the red pill as presented by content creators, fall into narcissism, because red pill is a road directly to narcissism if those people do not get the results that these people that they're paying or often that they're often paying these people for don't happen, right? So I can argue that that's negative and that's harmful, and that's all the argument I need to prove that it is in fact harmful, right? We don't need to talk about women not getting married. I'm sorry?
I can give you another one that I worked on regarding the opposite of the red pill would be that ignorance is bliss. So you can actually determine by giving them all of this information. So you kind of get into a biblical argument of maybe you shouldn't know all these things because it will deter you from taking your shot. So you can approach it from a couple of ways.
Sure.
But generally they're wrong. I mean, even if you look at like Sartain's got a girlfriend, it doesn't seem, they all these guys, even Myron, he's got his permanent lady, even though they do whatever they do, most of them tend to kind of be in some form of a relationship with the person that they care.
I think it's a valid argument that many of the content creators do not prescribe marriage. And why would they? So the criticisms, the three things that I would criticize red pill on is the first one I mentioned, which is red pill leads to narcissism because red pill as prescribed by specific creators will often lead to narcissism because their they don't get the results that they feel like they're paying for, and then that, because they followed these rules, because they bettered themselves, because they've done all of this, or they feel like they have, again, we get into feelings here, then they turn to narcissism, and therefore and that would be a less than optimal result, right? Now, whether or not that narcissism takes a toll on their lives, who knows? I don't know. I'm not here to say that. The second downside to red pill is red pill has no place without feminism. So it has no interest in destroying feminism, which is counter to the original tenet of red pill, and that is the patriarchy. So for red pill content creators to have, or the path that they lay out and make it make sense, they have to count on feminism, these boss babes and all of that, to fall into their frame, and they rely on feminism. They rely heavily on feminism to support the red pill lifestyle, right? Because if women are looking for actual relationships, I'm sorry.
The red pill Batman needs the Joker 304 feminists, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So that's the second. That's the second way that it kind of. That's the second argument against it. And the third argument against red pill is that the red pill as a prescriptor is that you're relying heavily on someone else's interpretation of it rather than what you get out of it. And you're treating it as a prescriptor for your life, which is not, it's just not really the right, it's not a moral way to do that, right? So on the other side, I want to argue for red pill. My best argument for red pill is that red pill is nothing more than a series of tenets and descriptors for how men can improve their lives, how to recognize how women move and why they move in relationships and outside of relationships. And it gives some idea of how men should approach being in relation and handle being in relationships with women. Now, you can call it giving frame or whatever, but that's all I really need to say to make it that red pill is very positive. It's only when you get into red pill creators, and you add that word creator on it, or red pill courses or anything. If you just say red pill is nothing more than a series of rules that you can follow or not follow.
What I've heard Andrew and them argue as well is, if you take it to its core, red pill is the descriptors of the current situation regarding the dating market. But when you bring in creators and all of that, that's when you will get descriptors. It is more a data set, a realistic data set. And then when you add creator, it becomes descriptive and solutions given to the metric.
And that's the only argument that Fatty needed to make to win. Red pill is not content creators. It is not the manosphere. The manosphere is not the content creators. The red pill, if the manosphere is based around the red pill and the red pill is not content creators, then it's not bad. Okay, that's all he needed to say to win it.
Not red pill either, which is also a conflation, because the whole manosphere is not red pill.
Yeah, correct. But if you conflate manosphere with red pill, which is what was happening, he won that. He could have won that argument with that. He could have won the debate with that one argument, because there's nothing that he put out to deny that. He never made the arguments that the translad never made the arguments that red pill leads to narcissism, never made the argument that red pill is depends on feminism to work. Never made the argument that red pill creators are the toxic part of it, and therefore and they are while they're part of the manosphere, they are not the manosphere. So it was, while I can make those arguments and probably win a debate against red pill, I would much rather have the simpler debate of just saying these are tenets. They're just rules for living. They're not good nor bad. So you can't say that red pill is bad for society. Nev was disingenuous because he didn't want to argue in and he stayed in generality. I'm assuming that's what he says. And he kept moving the goalpost. Every time that Fatty would say, well, Rolo's married. Yeah. When Fatty finally looked at chat and saw where I said, hey, Rolo's married, because I'm trying to help him, right?
Yeah.
When Rolo put that out there, the translad simply came back and said, well, that's only one person that that's not representative of red pill. Whereas, and again, I supplied the answer that he is literally wrote the book on it. So if he's the guy, then then nobody, if he can't be responsible if no one else follows it, but you can't say it's bad and it doesn't encourage us when the guy who wrote it is literally married. And the problem says a happy marriage.
All Fatty has to do is equate the whole argument of the similar thing to PDF files being in the Catholic Church. It's not the Catholic Church that's bad. Now you're singling out individuals within a space.
Well,
but that's not an argument for why a space is bad.
The translad did try and wrongly conflate red pill and PUA, and actually said that PUA was better than red pill, which is insane. That's literally insane. I can't believe that Fatty did not call the translate on that. Let's see what he's ultimately the red pill requires the very thing it claims to navigate to exist, which is why the most red pill creators take the enjoy to decline mentality, which is nihilistic. Actually, Angel Berber is exactly right. Red pill, if you take red pill as it is now, it eventually will lead you to nihilism, because without feminism, the red pill tenets of high value women and all of that, and having your harem and all of that, it falls apart. Now, if you back up to just the core principles of red pill, of being a good dude, man of your word, concentrate, earn money, get in shape, whatever, be healthy. If you take it to its core tenets, it's fine. But once you come out of that into that red pill space where the content creators are, that's it. It's very easy to become narcissistic, and it will lead to nihilism as well. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, and I mentioned ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, absolutely. You're for some reason your mic doesn't catch the first part of the sentence.
Yeah,
I only get the last half. So, the translate did not give a single example of why red pill is actually bad, and didn't seem like they could. It was all just my feelings. I feel like this. I feel like that. And to his credit, Fatty would say, yeah, okay, I get you. I can see why you think that way. But Fatty did not. Fatty really didn't call him on a bunch of stuff that he should have. He should have said, look, it's great you want to talk about your feelings. That's another show. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you want to talk about this in this way, but it's just not the time for it. And this is the problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, was anybody moderating or not? No moderator.
No, they had 3 moderators that sat there on their hands the whole time.
Yeah, but that's not.
So the translate. So first of all, the translate has refused to debate me on, I think, anything, but definitely doesn't want to debate me on red pill or anything to do about men, because I destroyed them. I destroyed them in the Sarah on the show on Sarah, and all they could do is put up hack together clips to try and make me look bad. but the trans lad is an idiot and refuses to debate me. Refuses. Which is terrible for me because it would be so much fun. And for whatever reason, Fatty didn't. So the mods can get involved on Fatty's deal. And if he had made me a mod, I would have won that debate for him.
Yeah.
Nev had also had a huge, I didn't watch the end, huge contradiction at the end and ended up arguing for red pill. Yeah. See, that's a problem is that it's really hard to argue against the red pill itself because the red pill is all about making men better men. How can it's very hard to argue against making men better men. It just
he should have lost. He should have lost. It seems like Fatty wasn't prepared.
Actually, Fatty, for the most part, he had a script, and I think he kind of stuck to it. He didn't wander off in the weeds because often Fatty will just wander off into the weeds. He didn't really do that while I was watching last night. The other guys may know more. I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, it was pretty terrible. The debate it should have been over in like 30 minutes, man. Like tops.
Yeah.
And I would have just sat there and just kept repeating.
Kill that.
Yeah, I would have just kept repeating. All you're giving me are feelings. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about what other people feel. I only need to know how the manosphere is bad. Show me where it's hurt a man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you can, but they're not smart enough to know that. I really can on a lot of times in winning a debate is not about necessarily being super smart yourself or having an argument that cannot lose. It's more about the other person just being an idiot and figuring out in what way they're an idiot. So
yeah, if you can disprove what the other person is saying to be false, you don't have to say much that's right to win the debate.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's well, I mean, if anytime you're going to debate with somebody that's going to argue feelings, you just you win automatically because all you got to do is say, "Okay, I understand, I got it. You're in your feels right now. I understand you feel this way." That's why I always say, when you hear me say I feel, I almost always immediately go, "Man, I really hate using that term," right? Because it's not that it's bad for men to have feelings, because it's a bad argument. It's a bad place to make a statement from. My feelings are totally fucking irrelevant most of the time. I know it makes me look like I have big floppy ears. Thank you very much. You're literally the 100th person to tell me that. But thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Crumplestiltskin, over on the Twitch. He's watching me on Twitch, bro. That's nice. He's like the only one. He wins. I don't know what he wins, but he wins. But but literally, you know, when people start talking about their feels, I really dislike, because it's always a bad argument. The minute somebody says, I feel like this, I perk up, because I'm more than likely I'm going to destroy them. You have to be careful, though, because a lot of times they'll start with, I feel like, and they'll round that corner with, I feel like this information is the best fact to use, right? And then it is a real fact, and you walk into a trap. So, yeah, I think Twitch is bugged, boys. Twitch is bugged. I haven't got
Twitch is bugged, boys.
Yeah.
Somebody hit grid 1 with a prime. Can we check that Twitch, see if it's bugged, boys?
I don't know that I could even get a prime, bro. I don't know anything about Twitch. Grumplestiltskin apparently is the Twitch master, and so I need to have him, you know.
Grumple, where's Grid's prime, bro?
Yeah, but yeah, so you guys that missed the debate last night with Fatty and Liar. By the way, the first part of this dude's made up name is Neve. The whole name is Neve, Liar. I just go by the last part of that. The last four, the only important letters, and that is liar. Right?
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Nev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in their own name or made up name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
no, for sure.
Making shit up. If you're gonna make shit up, people are gonna use it against you. So
yeah, at least they're self-aware, you know.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that they've looked at it and they're like, well, I wonder how many people are gonna say something. Most people just call it Neve or Nev or whatever the hell. But I just say liar. And I usually
I've heard of Nev before.
Liar. I think of the red pill as a one-time waking up to the realities of modern society, specifically regarding dating and marriage divorce laws. It's not bad. I think of red pill as a set of tenets for men, especially young men, that probably have never had a set of rules to live by in their life. This is a set of rules they can live by. Right? A code.
See, I take it down to the core of it. I think red pill is just descriptors of modern and social dating dynamics.
Yeah, it's a
data set to that.
Yeah, it's the it's the rules to live by in 2024. That's the 10 commandments of 2024. That's all it is. So
blasphemy.
Well, no, the 10 commandments are irrelevant because the New Testament, right?
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
That dude's not French. He's like Indian or some nonsense.
French people, Indian people can live in France, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that dude's in Canada. Canadian land.
A French Canadian is way worse than a normal French. No,
I know. I keep thinking that we should sick Josie on it, but Josie's too mean.
Is she in Canada?
No, but she could be. She's Canadian. She's French Canadian, or she was Canadian. I think she's ex-French Canadian, French American. I don't know how that works. I don't want to do that math. Who cares? It's bad math. So. Yeah, I don't have any ads right now on my stream because you watch it live. There's no ads. If you don't watch it live, well, they're ads because that's what I do.
Yeah, how would lives have ads?
Yeah, you're live.
Good thing they haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, they will. Don't worry, they will.
Little pop-ups.
Well, a lot of the shows will do like timeouts while they're live and go to an ad and then come back. I don't do that.
Okay.
What's up, Team Fatty? I was just talking about you, brother. Did you hear me? Did you hear me all the way over there? You want to come up, Team Fatty? I got 10 extra minutes.
Grid, do you want to swap us out?
Oh, he can come. You can stay. That's fine.
I think let me swap out and go do some work. Then you chat to Fatty. I appreciate it.
Go to work. All right, fine.
Yeah, let me be responsible, Grid.
Fatty, do you want to come up, buddy? One of the mods will get you the link. I'll send you the link. I got you on Discord.
Is that all right, Grid? I enjoyed the chat.
That's totally fine, man. That is totally cool.
I don't want to hog all of your energy for today.
Yeah, that's not a thing, but I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and then no stress. Have a good stream, chat. You guys are awesome. Likes, please hit the likes. Damn it, you guys are late.
Oh, he's eating with his parents. Well, we're gonna end anyway.
Okay, well I'll stay then.
Yeah, just stay for another minute or two. We're gonna shut down. I think he's gonna say something about my critique of the debate.
Of the debate.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's see what he says.
Just a note. Oh, or maybe he was just doing a note of the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who knows? If he wants to make a note of the debate, I'd actually like to really talk to him about the debate, because it seems like that he kind of. It was funny that Liar said that everyone on Manosphere shouldn't be complaining about y'all when she has all the right to complain about you, Glenn, and the fellas. Yeah. Well, she's a liar, or he's a liar, obviously, because it's wearing a dress. And the second thing is that the most, honestly, Fatty, one of the things I think that you missed out, and I applaud you for missing it, because I wouldn't have. It's all good, bro. Don't worry about the typos. I applaud you for missing or not taking the opportunity to lambaste Nev when she pulled the I like to go after prideful people nonsense. And when literally how arrogant is it to call yourself a woman when you are a man? How arrogant is it to demand that everyone see you in the way that you want to be seen? How arrogant can you possibly be to think that you are always right and have zero humility in the world around them? This is actually what I'm going to end on today, guys. I'll give Fatty a few minutes to respond, but it was the most amazing thing to watch Nev Liar. I call it Liar. It was the most amazing thing to watch Liar repeatedly climb up on that high horse and say that what they want to do is to bring attention to people who are arrogant, negative attention, obviously, and make it known that they're arrogant, while they are honestly, it's the most I've never seen anyone more arrogant than that lying dude. So
yeah,
right, yeah, I want to be seen as 8.5% body fat, and it's racist if you refuse it. Absolutely.
Damn straight.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna end the stream. I'm gonna send you guys over to Chaotic Truth. He's having a great time over there. Go enjoy some chaos. Team Fatty, she will not debate me, bro. You were the one that told me that she will not debate me.
Set it up, Fatty. Set it up.
Yeah, set it up, man. I'll debate her.
Make it happen.
Whatever. Also, next time just email that dude if he can still get chicks pregnant, because that makes you a man. All right, guys, we'll see you.
What if he's
We're out of here.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone.